Lu Qingji clung greedily to his master, deeply inhaling the scent from her snow-white neck, murmuring master under his breath. Boy and girl, their clothes disheveled, were entangled together, moans and whimpers echoing in the room, a scene of passionate intimacy unfolding before her eyes. Luo Qiu couldn't accept this filthy entanglement. She pushed him away with all her might. "Let go of me, you monster. Let go." Her face was full of unwillingness, and with every let go, his grip tightened. He lifted her chin, forcing her to look at him. "Master." The word was filled with all the indulgence and affection he held for this girl. Then he leaned down and captured her cherry-red lips. Their lips and teeth met, the intertwined scent of love and desire filling the air. Having claimed the lips of his beloved, he chuckled triumphantly, as if declaring his sovereignty. "You can only obediently not stay by this disciple's side." Hearing these shameless words, she cried out in terror. It was all just a dream. She awoke from the unforgettable nightmare, repeatedly rubbing her forehead. A spring dream was one thing, but with the villain who wanted to kill her, Lu Qingji. But in the end, she had to admit that all the girls were infatuated with him, and she was no exception. She had described his physique in great detail. Despite his outwardly wicked appearance, he had six-pack abs. She gestured as she spoke. "Forget it. Let's not talk about this." She sat expressionlessly in front of the dressing table. "I'm Luo Qiu. Yes, I've transmigrated." While combing her hair, she recalled how she had transmigrated. Her unlucky soul had crossed into the novel A Pear Blossomed Dead, into the body of the character with the same name, Luo Qiu. The original owner was a cruel master who tormented the villain relentlessly. Outwardly noble, she was inwardly twisted and vicious, especially in A Pear Blossomed Dead. The person she liked wasn't the exceptionally talented and beautiful female lead, Yuan Miley. Thank goodness she wasn't that kind of person. If she didn't like the female lead, she wouldn't like the male lead either, just to complete the set. She also didn't like the most talented male lead in the cultivation world, Xiao Chun. The person she liked was actually the villain, Lu Qingji. This character was merely a foil for the male and female leads, but he possessed blue gold eyes and had an extremely unfortunate childhood. Yet this person was extraordinary. Despite experiencing so much misfortune, it didn't affect him becoming a truly kind person. At 14, he volunteered to join the Cloud Immortal sect. At that time, Luo Qiu happened to be the sect leader. It seemed fortunate, but the boy's panicked expression said it all. "Master, please don't." Sure enough, this was the beginning of his descent into the abyss. Master Luo Qiu gripped his chin tightly, venting her anger on him. "Lu Qingji, how dare you reject me?" After being rejected, the vicious woman became resentful, discarding him like a rag and taking the male lead as her disciple instead. "Become my disciple." Because of her madness, Master Luo Qiu began to take pleasure in torturing him. "Today, Master will abolish your cultivation. Let's see if you dare to defy me again." Despite the child's painful cries, her hand mercilessly stripped him of his power. From then on, he lived every day in torment under his master's cruelty. His body was bound to a wooden beam with heavy iron chains. She was only there to vent her hatred. "My good disciple has encountered a bottleneck in his cultivation." Saying this, she pulled out a knife and stabbed it straight into his left chest. "How about I dig out your heart and help that child cultivate?" These evil deeds forced him down a wicked path. "Good master." The boy, fallen into darkness, stared coldly at the person who had once tormented him. "What you did to me?" The vicious master's face paled with fright, and she retreated repeatedly. He drew his sword and plunged it straight into her heart, just as she had once done to him. "This disciple will return it to you bit by bit." After his revenge, he was killed by the male and female leads, his body thrown into the wilderness. Purple flowers bloomed on his scarred body. Reading this, she cried until she fainted. When she woke up, she had transmigrated into Master Luo Qiu from book. Sigh, this wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was being entangled by this broken system cat, forcing her to complete all the main quest lines of that vicious master. She was annoyed just looking at that useless cat. Seemingly sensing her murderous aura, the cat woke up. "Luo Qiu, you're awake. You haven't even wiped your drool. It's all over the floor." The cat shoved today's quest information at her. "Since you're awake, hurry up and start the quest. System prompt. Accept Lu Qingji as a disciple. Accept or or reject. Today is the disciple acceptance ceremony, so you have to make a choice. She was in no mood to go, reluctantly slamming the reject button, leaving the cat dumbfounded. Aren't you Lu Qingji's diehard fan? Your precious baby is about to be tormented by a bunch of people. Don't you want to go find him and save him from his suffering? She tapped the cat on the head to wake it. Bringing him here will prevent him from being abused too badly. Besides, yes, I am his diehard fan, but that's only because I like the character in the novel. Now he wants to kill me. Even if I like him again, I can't risk my life. The cat yelped in pain after being tapped. It was unclear if it understood. Seeing her firmness, the cat softened, hugging her arm and whimpering. But if you don't complete the mission, you'll be struck by lightning and your soul will be scattered. Please go quickly. Hearing this, she tapped the cat again. No, if I don't complete the mission, I'll be struck by lightning, and if I do, I'll be stabbed to death. I'm going to die sooner or later anyway. Then she stood up and dramatically pointed at the sun, shouting, "If you're really capable, go tell the god of thunder to strike me dead now." Of course, she was just joking, but it actually worked. A bolt of lightning struck down, splitting the table she was sitting at in two. She and the cat, scared witless, scrambled away. Seeing the split table, both of their souls nearly flew out of their bodies. Her face was pale with fright, and her voice trembled slightly. Aren't we just playing the villain, creating a brainless character to push the plot, creating a tragic atmosphere? Luo Chio walked outside to greet the morning light with tears in her eyes. I understand everything now. Let's go. Let's do the mission. I love doing missions. The last sentence was somewhat insincere. Arriving at the main hall, she walked like a returning queen. Everyone bowed their heads and saluted Master Luo Chio. She walked in leisurely with the cat. When someone called out to her, "You're here." Her brother, sect leader Yun Shini, was smiling as he announced, "Come quickly. The results of the disciple acceptance ceremony are about to be revealed." Seeing her brother so happy, she smiled back and replied, "Senior brother," but her mind was on other things. Yun Shini, this person in the novel, was the senior brother. It was a pity that this person had a secret crush on this character for many years, but was eventually killed by her. What a sin. Back to the main topic. A guard came to report the results of the disciple acceptance ceremony. Now that all 4 peak masters have arrived, sect leader, the illusion trial has ended. Only one young man passed the test this year. Peak Master Mu Qinghua said with some regret, "I didn't expect only one child to pass this year. I wanted to accept a few more disciples to try my newly refined pills." Peak Master Zhao Tianin angrily retorted, "You old geezer, it's because you set the difficulty of the illusion too high and harmed yourself." Yun Shini remained gentle. "All right, stop arguing. Bring him up and let us have a look." The guard acknowledged, "Yes, sect leader." The one brought up was a young man in coarse cloth. The 4 peak masters were all curious. "Little guy, raise your head." He raised his head, revealing a pair of blue gold eyes that stunned everyone who saw them. But these beautiful eyes startled the 4 peak masters. Only Luo Chio remained calm, because before this, she knew that the young man with the blue gold eyes was the young Lu Qingji. Yun Shini was always gentle, but at this moment he spoke frankly. "Blue gold eyes are unlucky. I'm sorry. The floating cloud immortal sect cannot accept you as a disciple. Please leave." Hearing this, the boy was devastated. Seeing that she hadn't moved, the system cat tugged at her sleeve to remind her, "Luo Chio, if you don't speak up, Lu Qingji will be driven down the mountain." She continued to sip her tea leisurely, completely ignoring the cat. The emperor is not in a hurry, but the eunuch is. Let's wait a little longer. In fact, she had already calculated in her heart. In the future, she would definitely be forced to complete the task of abusing Lu Qingji. So now she had to find a way to gain favor. Only by helping him when he needed it most would he be grateful. The boy knelt on the ground, pleading, "I've never hurt anyone." But no matter how much he pleaded, the sect elders wouldn't accept him as a disciple. "Stop struggling. This cultivation world is not suitable for you, and the floating cloud immortal sect is even less suitable for you. Take the child down the mountain." Hearing these heartless words, his world instantly crumbled. He had thought that cultivators would be different from others, but the memories hit him like a hammer. Since he was a child, the children in the village had bullied him, tortured him, and laughed at him for being a different species, with strange eye color, always telling him to get lost. Now, these so-called righteous cultivators were no different from those village bastards. He suddenly erupted and directly questioned the sect elders. Seeing his rudeness, Mu Qinghua immediately struck out, sending him flying with a single palm. At such a young age, he couldn't withstand the blow at all. He was sent flying, crashing heavily into a pillar with a loud bang. A child's body couldn't take it, and his face instantly turned pale. Luo Qiu couldn't sit still any longer. Completely abandoning her aloof demeanor, her face filled with worry, she stunned the sect elders for a full 5 seconds. Good heavens, this is terrible. Are you all right? Are you hurt? She asked, her heart pounding in her chest. She had just taken a sip of tea. How did the antagonist end up like this? If he really died, she would be doomed too. Her worried expression was clearly seen by the little guy. He didn't understand why someone would care so much about him, actually running over to check on him. Just then, the cat suddenly popped up to remind her to maintain her composure. Luo Qiu, keep up your cold and arrogant persona. Don't break character. Hearing the reminder, she immediately restrained her emotions, shot a cold glance into the distance, and resumed her indifferent look. So dirty. The child looked bewildered, reaching out to address her as immortal venerable, but she gathered her sleeves and coldly snapped, "Don't touch me." Just now, the immortal venerable wanted to save me, so why is she changed again? He felt her face changed faster than flipping a page. Wait, her soul. He saw that the expression on her face was different from others. Besides frowning, there seemed to be other emotions. After realizing her true thoughts, a smile played on his lips. I see. My performance begins now that my inner thoughts have been seen through. Clutching his arm, he feigned a pitiful look. I'm so dirty. I'll dirty the immortal venerable's clothes. The immortal venerable is unhappy, so she won't hug me. He kept clutching his bleeding arm. So dirty. The immortal venerable doesn't like dirty things. No matter how much I wipe, it won't come clean. Tears started streaming down his cheeks. Why won't it come clean? Seeing this pitiful scene, her heart softened. No, I can't stand it. This child is too pitiful. She decided to open her arms and embrace the little guy. Come with me, she said, her words irrevocable. She was determined to protect this poor child. The child, with tears and snot streaming down his face, clung to this kind master. Suddenly, a sly smile appeared on his face, his blue-gold eyes gleaming. Luo Qiu crouched down and gently asked, "How old are you, little guy?" He hesitated for a long time before replying, "I'm 14. He maintained his pitiful appearance. Her face was full of pity. He had suffered so much at such a young age. Inwardly, she was already planning on raising her future husband from a young age. So thin. You need to be properly fattened up. After asking his age, she had to ask his name. The formalities had to be completed. Do you have a name? The child looked up at her, his eyes filled with innocence and tears. I don't have a name. Everyone has called me Lu Ying since I was little. This child was truly miserable. What kind of parents would let him be like this, without even a proper name? Lu Ying was just a placeholder. She gently stroked the child's head, comforting him as she bestowed a name upon him. Not losing oneself in confusion, possessing both virtue and talent. Chengji, I hope you will be happy in the future and treat others with kindness. From today onwards, your name is Lu Chengji. For the first time, the child felt an unprecedented warmth. The name Lu Chengji echoed in his mind, as if his identity had been confirmed. He was so moved that he couldn't speak. He threw himself into her arms, embracing her excitedly. I like this name. He hugged her tightly, repeatedly thanking her. Thank you, benefactor. This innocent act caught her off guard. We're antagonists these days, so easy to win over. She stood up and declared firmly, all right, the naming ceremony is over. Now it's time for the disciple acceptance. You don't want him, I'll take him. The 3 sect elders were startled by her boldness, their faces changing color. The experienced sect master stepped forward to dissuade her. Please reconsider. Children with heterochromia are a curse. Whoever takes him as a disciple will not have good fortune. Ignoring all the gossip and dissuasion, she was unstoppable. I insist on taking this child as my disciple. She was about to pick up the child when a female sect master pointed at her face and yelled, this child cannot stay in the floating cloud immortal sect. All demon lords who descend upon the world have heterochromia. I've already been merciful. It's already good that I didn't kill him. Good heavens, who taught her to speak so harshly? Chunji was so scared that he didn't dare look up at her. Luo Chio merely frowned. She waited for them to finish before immediately retorting. Since when do outsiders interfere in the affairs of Qingyapi? The female sect master was so angry that she wanted to argue further, but fortunately, Yin Shini intervened in time. All right, everyone calm down. Please calm down, sect masters. Sect master Su stepped forward and proposed a compromise. As a respected sect master, Yun Shini invited him to speak. Please, sect master Su. His suggestion sounded a bit creepy. How about we hold a bloodletting ritual? Afraid that she would misunderstand, he explained, all living things have spirits. This child was born this way. It would be best to hold a bloodletting ritual to exorcise evil spirits and avoid disaster. If he can endure it, then it is fate, and then Venerable Luo Chio can take him as her disciple. What do you think? She worried about the child's frail body and lack of stamina, so she refused. No, he's just a child with no cultivation. At this moment, the system suddenly notified her that she had to personally perform the bloodletting ritual for Lu Qingji. She had just refused, and now she was in this awkward situation. I clearly remember this wasn't in the original story. The bloodletting ritual lasts for 3 shurchen, a full 6 hours. How can his small frame endure it? Amidst the chaos. Fortunately, the child was very sensible. I agree. I want to stay by Immortal Venerable's side. Looking at this pitiful child about to be subjected to the ritual, she couldn't bear it, but everything came at a price. If she wanted to keep him, she had to agree. Fine. She picked up the little guy and glared fiercely at everyone. I will personally perform the bloodletting ritual for him to avert the disaster. But from now on, if anyone dares to insult him again because of his blue-gold heterochromia, I will not let it go. Do you understand? You said it. The sect master gestured for someone to prepare the tools. Small hands were firmly bound by iron chains. Blood dripped, filling an entire basin. People whispered, doubting whether he could survive this ordeal. Do you think he'll die? He's lost so much blood. The little guy gritted his teeth, enduring the physical pain. Disciples whispered amongst themselves, everyone thinking that without cultivation, he definitely wouldn't survive the night. Anyway, keeping him would only bring disaster to Immortal Venerable Fu Yun. The bloodletting ritual was witnessed by the 4 peak lords and a group of onlookers. Luo Chio felt irritated, time moving too slowly. Damn it, why is this incense burning so slowly? She wished she could smash the bowl a few times. Fortunately, heaven helped her. A gust of wind blew by, extinguishing the incense. She immediately stood up, feeling like she would get hemorrhoids if she sat any longer, and shouted, 3 shurchen, that is 6 hours have passed. Lu Qingji, I'm leaving. The old peak lord could only shake his head helplessly at her eagerness. The iron chains wrapped around the little boy fell away. Having just saved a life, the system also sent a reward. Tasks 1 and 2 completed. Luo Chio's cultivation recovered by 20%, and she also received a revitalizing pill. She placed him on the ground, using her spiritual power to heal him. Don't move, I'll heal you. He looked at her with vacant eyes and weakly called out, Immortal Venerable. He gave her a happy smile, but his body was trembling. Am I completely severed from the past? She gently held his hand and answered softly, yes, it's all over. She didn't know where he got the strength to still smile. That's good. Afraid the little boy would be traumatized, she comforted him. Don't be afraid. Master will protect you from now on. This warmth dispelled his pain. Immortal Venerable, I don't hurt. Don't worry. As soon as she finished speaking, he fainted, causing her to sit beside him anxiously, calling out Lu Qingji repeatedly, hoping he would wake up. After calling for a long time with no response, she reached out to check. Who knew? Lu Qingji, you're not dead, are you? The outline of the celestial palace appeared faintly amidst the immortal mist. Right in front of the palace, there was a super anxious master holding her newly accepted disciple, looking panicked, watching the child drained of blood, almost going crazy. System, why did Lu Qingji suddenly collapse? The orange cat jumped onto her shoulder, its expression as grim as hers. I don't know, meow. Just as she was sinking into low spirits, a sudden flash of inspiration struck her. Wait, didn't I just get a revival pill? Give it to me. She frantically stretched her hand towards the cat, demanding the life-saving elixir. The system cat was covered in cold sweat, watching its master's frenzy. Hey, this character's main storyline has only progressed by 10%. You're going to use an item now. Think carefully before you go wild. Luo Chio didn't care about the side effects. Saving a life was the top priority. She didn't care whether it could be used or not. She glared at the cat and threatened in a low voice, "If you talk nonsense again, I'll make you starve." Her threat made the cat cough up the pill. Fine, here you go." She finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Good kitty, you know what's good for you." She carefully fed the pill into the boy's mouth. The system simultaneously announced that the item had been consumed, but his life was saved. Phew. After feeding him the medicine, she finally relaxed. It seems he's all right for now. Worried about his life, and also about her own. "Thankfully, I also survived," she cried silently in her heart. The scene changed. The night was cold and clear. The full moon hung high, as if mocking the smoke curling up from the bronze censer. A pair of eyes, still immersed in sweet dreams, appeared particularly peaceful. The boy woke up in a warm bed, looking up at the ceiling, his body still very weak. He wondered where he was. He had clearly been outside just now, so how did he get inside? In his fragmented memories, "I remember an immortal saved me." He couldn't forget the woman's figure. But where is the immortal? Upon hearing those words, he immediately sat up, calling out immortal, as if searching for her. A pale hand gently lifted the curtain. Lu Qingji, Luo Chio appeared like an angel, holding a freshly brewed medicine, and asked him, "You're awake." Her smile was as bright as a lily. Seeing him sit up like this, she quickly urged, "Lie down quickly. It will hurt a lot if you pull on the wound." Seeing her, a smile immediately bloomed on his face as he repeatedly called out, "Immortal." Feeling the warmth, tears of gratitude welled up in his eyes. Looking at the weak young man, she said with a hint of helplessness, "You didn't cry during the bloodletting. Why are you crying now?" She reached out to wipe away his tears and reminded him, "Also, you have to call me something else." This made him a little confused. "Call you something else." He looked up at her, smiled, and naturally called out "Master," as if confirming that he had become her disciple. Suddenly, Luo Chio was embraced by this little guy, who called out "Master" 3 times in a row, showing how important this was to him. Since he cared so much, Luo Chio could only go along with his wishes. But she was still worried about his body. "All right, sit up. You've been unconscious for several hours. Eat something first." He obediently listened to his master's words and released her. The room was decorated with potted plants and porcelain, warm and elegant. He looked around the unfamiliar room curiously. "Master, where is this?" "You're feeding me, but I keep looking around. I can't calm down at all," she explained to avoid his confusion. "This is a room in the Silver Ice Pavilion. You can live here from now on." Even though she said so, he still had to ask, "Is the Silver Ice Pavilion your home?" "It used to be mine. Now it's our home." Before she could finish her sentence, he rushed forward and hugged her again. "Thank you, Master. I will treat you well for the rest of my life and never leave you." The little guy turned around, thinking to himself, "From now on, I will live for Master. Except for Master, no one can make me die." The new room was too unfamiliar. He couldn't sleep all night, staring at the ceiling with wide eyes. He tossed and turned, laughing like a madman in the middle of the night. "The immortal has become my master. Such a good immortal is my master. I'm not alone anymore." He tossed and turned so much that the wooden bed started to creak. So in the middle of the night, a loud bang came from a certain room. He knew he had collapsed the bed, so he simply lay there with a confident smile on his face. Chungji sat up abruptly, his face full of bewilderment. The bed had collapsed. If he had questions, he had to ask, so he ran to his master in the middle of the night to ask for advice, looking like he was bravely going to battle. Pushing open the door, a gust of cold wind rushed in. To be precise, Luo Chio's door was ajar, and someone's shadow flashed past. He entered his master's room without permission and walked straight in. "Master, are you asleep?" He stood in front of the bed, staring at his master's sleeping face. Suddenly, he frowned, as if he was dissatisfied with something. He focused all his attention on the orange cat sleeping on the bed, drooling. He unhappily picked up the fat cat from Master's bed. Why can't it sleep with Master? The cat was too much of a hindrance, so he casually tossed the cat aside to sleep and then climbed onto the bed himself. He gently pulled up the quilt, covering both of them, his face full of pride, as if he had achieved some goal. He sniffed the scent of laundry detergent on the quilt and exclaimed, "It's all Master's scent." This child was too cunning. Master's sleeping face was as beautiful as a fairy in a painting. He turned around, facing her directly, admiring her dreamlike face. "My master." The faint morning light gently sprinkled through the window, and a breeze blew into the room, as if waking the sleeping person. Luo Chio frowned and opened her eyes, only to feel like a large stone was pressing down on her. Her eyes suddenly widened as if she realized something. She turned her head and saw her disciple sleeping soundly while holding her. Lu Qingji. She wanted to call his name, but was too shocked to speak. He mumbled master in his sleep, leaving her completely confused. How did he get here? A scene flashed through her mind. Lu Qingji, in her dream, also called her master like this. But his gaze at that time was much more ambiguous. She remembered that unforgettable spring dream, and her face instantly turned as red as a tomato. Let the past be the past. She warned herself inwardly. What am I thinking? He's still just a child. How could he do something like that? She pulled the clingy little guy away, thinking he was so scared last night, he probably doesn't dare sleep alone. But no matter how she pulled, he just rolled over and hugged her even tighter, still mumbling master, making her blood pressure skyrocket. Helplessly, she stuffed a pillow into his arms, complaining inwardly. This child is so clingy even when he's asleep. She gently covered him with the pink quilt and was about to leave when the word master made her stop again. Lu Qingji rubbed his eyes, looking at her, sneaking around curiously. Master, where are you going? She smiled gently and patted his head. I'm going to prepare breakfast. You can sleep a little longer. Inwardly, she was screaming because this little guy's hair was just too cute. I'm already this big, yet still so naive. I want to sleep with Master, he said unconsciously, startling her. She gently grabbed his shoulders and reminded him, no need. If you're bored, you can go cultivate in the back mountain forest. Come back in half an hour. He lowered his eyes, looking reluctant, but since it was Master's request, he reluctantly agreed. Yes, Master. This disciple obeys. The emerald bamboo forest provided ample shade as a young man diligently studied a secret manual passed down for 3 generations. There are so many things in this cultivation method that I don't understand. Master would definitely worry if I encountered a problem, he thought, smiling slightly as he pictured his revered master. Master will definitely know. I'll ask her when I go back. He was concentrating on his studies when Jia Shan, a disciple from Twin Jade Peak, came to provoke him. Isn't this venerable Luo Chio's new disciple? Why are you cultivating alone in the back mountain? He didn't bother to respond, only glancing sideways at the other person so as not to dirty his eyes. The man was furious but speechless, only cursing inwardly. This kid dares to ignore me. He's just lucky to be taken in as venerable Luo Chio's disciple, and he's already so arrogant. He snatched the martial arts manual from Lu Qingji's hands, hoping to get his attention. Such a precious thing, senior brother. Let me see what precious cultivation method you're studying. He unceremoniously picked up Lu Qingji's book and started reading. Seeing his treasure snatched, Lu Qingji couldn't help but ask for it back. Not only did he not return it, but he sneered, it's just a beginner's cultivation method. I thought it was something amazing. He looked down at Lu Qingji with disdain. Kneel, and I'll give it back to you. How about that? Lu Qingji resolutely ignored this scoundrel, directly cursing him back to his face. In this lifetime, I will only kneel to Master. Seeing his defiance, the other party stopped beating around the bush and casually held the book up in front of him. Since you don't want it, I'll tear it up for you. With that, he tore it page by page, throwing the pieces into the air. The paper fragments danced in the wind. After committing such a despicable act, he simply said, here you go. Lu Qingji watched the scattered pieces of paper, his face darkening. Unable to bear the humiliation any longer, he looked up at them, his eyes filled with hatred. Seeing his near-frenzied state, the others suddenly felt guilty. Just now they were arrogant and domineering. Now they were as scared as little dogs. Suddenly, footsteps approached from the bamboo forest. He immediately recognized Master's footsteps. A domineering seal-like smile unconsciously crept onto his lips. The real show was just about to begin. He decided to act weak and pitiful, crying out loudly, "Senior brothers, don't bully me too much." The others felt justified. So what if we bully you? You dare glare at me. He even called for 500 brothers to gang up on him. You guys, teach this kid a lesson. He was beaten half to death, only able to cry out in pain as they vented their anger, their vicious curses accompanying their kicks. This is what you get for glaring at me. This is what happens to your arrogance. The other person looked down at him insultingly. Lu Qingji, let me tell you, you were born with a lowly life. People like you should be rolling in the dirt. How are you worthy of being venerable Luo Chio's disciple? Just then, Luo Qiu appeared like a descending deity. He's not qualified to be my disciple. Then are you? Her majestic voice made everyone's faces pale, leaving only the cries of Venerable One and Master in the air. Her aura filled the air, instantly silencing everyone. She suddenly stepped forward and called out, Lu Qingji, startling the little guy. Is this how you act as my disciple? This question stumped him. His moist, doe-like eyes looked at his master with grievance, all his weiqi written on his face. She also didn't hesitate to teach him the principles she had learned. Lu Qingji looked at his master tearfully, stuttering, unable to speak, secretly afraid that his master was angry. But to his surprise, she simply gently imparted the experience she had painstakingly gained. As my disciple, no matter what difficulties you encounter, you are not allowed to cry. You must give them a taste of their own medicine. Her words filled him with renewed strength, the tears hanging on his eyelashes transforming into a smile on his lips. This disciple understands. His master's teachings were etched in his heart. It was time to put them into practice. He stood up, the group of thugs behind him looking bewildered as the bamboo forest swayed in the wind. In the shadows of the bamboo forest, Lu Qingji slammed his fist into Jia Shun's face, pouring all his resentment into the blow. Jia Shun clutched his cheek, furious. How dare you hit me? Bright red blood, like duck blood, trickled from the corner of his mouth. Ignoring him completely, Lu Qingji continued his furious assault, giving Jia Shun no chance to react. Lu Qingji, are you crazy? Jia Shun shrieked, his amber eyes flashing with hatred as he glared at him. He didn't care if Jia Shun's father was a high-ranking official or some rich and powerful second-generation heir. He just kept punching relentlessly until Jia Shun was unrecognizable. He even wrestled him to the ground and continued the beating. Jia Shun's thugs trembled in fear, none daring to intervene. Only Luo Qiu stood by, secretly pleased. This is my disciple. My disciple will not be bullied. After the brutal beating, Jia Shun sobbed, Stop hitting me. I give up. Finally, some of Lu Qingji's anger subsided. Luo Qiu signaled for her disciple to stop. Otherwise, the boy might have committed premeditated murder. But the matter wasn't over. Their crimes demanded punishment. You disregarded your elders and bullied your fellow disciples. From today onwards, you were expelled from the Cloud Ascending sect. The group was incredulous. Why? You can't do this. She had anticipated their protests, but their arguments were futile. I will personally explain to the sect master. Now, get out. The Venerable One's authority left the thugs no choice but to obey and slink away. Once they were gone, her disciple rushed forward and embraced her. Master, the boy who had been so fierce moments before now sobbed uncontrollably, clutching her robes. Luo Qiu sighed, placing her hands gently on his shoulders. Lu Qingji, I have never taken a disciple before, since I have accepted you. She assured him with unwavering conviction. But then you are the best. His eyes widened, bright as headlights. I'm the best. His master's words sent his spirits soaring. She added, next time something like this happens, don't handle it alone. You can tell me. Remember, a bright smile bloomed on his face. I will remember, Master. Seeing his joyful expression, she couldn't help but ask, doesn't smiling like that hurt? Of course it still hurts, but what matters is, will Master always be with me? She smiled too, gently answering his innocent question. Of course, I am your master. I will always be with you. Her heart softened. The little fellow must have been afraid of being abandoned again. She tightened her grip on his hand. Let's go. Hand in hand, they walked home under the bright sky, back to the place that belonged to them. Amidst this happiness, she suddenly remembered his broken bed. By the way, I saw your bed was broken this morning, so I got you a new one. You can't come to my room anymore. Does Master not like me? It's not about liking or disliking, she explained. It's just that you're 14 years old now. It's against the rules for a master and disciple to share a bed. Worried that these words were too abstract for him, she patted his head. You're still young. There are many things you don't understand yet. Master will teach you slowly. There's no rush. He obediently replied softly, In the days that followed, she diligently taught him cultivation, and he progressed rapidly, not disappointing her. As for daily life, he always ensured she had 3 hearty meals a day. Lu Qingji took care of all the household chores, even taking over the cooking, a task that originally belonged to his master. Luo Qiu lived a comfortable life, basking in the sun in the courtyard every morning and evening, chatting with her disciple. Because of this, the bond between master and disciple deepened. A year later, Lu Qingji successfully established his foundation and came to bid farewell to his master, his face beaming with joy. She watched the boy reluctantly depart. "Qingji, be careful on your journey. I'll wait for your return." After he left, she continued to keep watch over the old house, spending her days tending her flowers, raising chickens, brewing wine, and playing with the orange cat, waiting for her disciple's return. Time flew by, and 3 years passed in a blink of an eye. The scenery remained the same, but the person had not returned. When would Qingji come back? If he didn't return soon, she would end up turning her cultivation novel into a farming manual. Even a system cat lay around lazily waiting. "I don't know. I miss his sweet and sour ribs, fried fish, and braised pork." So I was thinking about food. She grabbed the cat's head. "All you think about is eating." The gluttonous cat, however, could not only eat but also analyze the situation. "Luo Qiu, you're so good to him. Maybe he'll spare your life for your sake." She puffed out her chest, proudly showing off her brilliant achievement. "Of course, I raised that child for so many years just to hug his thigh and save my little life." Suddenly, a voice asked, "Master, whose thigh are you going to hug?" Hearing the familiar voice, she turned to see who it was. A tall, handsome young man stood before her, the familiar smile still on his face. "Master." The little boy, Lu Qingji, had grown into a handsome young man. He still wore a warm smile as he greeted his master whom he hadn't seen for many years. "Long time no see. I missed you very much." He returned with joy and happiness. It was just time for dinner, so she called him to eat together for the sake of liveliness. Suddenly, he shook off her hand. "You go eat." He looked at his master with a hint of resentment in his eyes. "I'm a little tired. I'll go back to my room to rest first." Luo Qiu, overjoyed to see her former disciple return, jumped up and shouted, "It's you." Lu Qingji, filled with longing, embraced his master. "Master, I'm back." She hugged him tightly, the smile never leaving her face. "Welcome back. My little one has grown up. Long time no see. Qingji, you've grown so tall." He leaned close to her ear, murmuring softly, as if pouring honey. "I've missed you so much these past 3 years. Not a moment has gone by without me thinking of you." She pushed him away, reminding him to mind his manners. "All right, you're all grown up now. Why are you still so clingy? You're not a child anymore." He obediently agreed, offering no rebuttal. As the two were chatting, a child with a sunny smile suddenly appeared, carrying a plate of food. "Master, it's lunchtime." Seeing another little one in the house, Lu Qingji felt puzzled. "Master, what's with this title?" Small hands gently set the tray down. The child looked up and asked her curiously, "Master, who is this?" She introduced them naturally. "This is your senior brother Lu Qingji, and this is my disciple whom I took in last year, the junior brother Mingwang." He looked down at the child, his face full of doubt, and glared at the child with obvious displeasure. Master took in another disciple. The child, on the other hand, was very polite. "Hello, senior brother." A moment of reunion. Now it was time for the family to eat. "By the way, haven't you eaten lunch yet? Let's eat together." Before she could finish her sentence, he shook off her hand again. "You eat." His tone was sullen, and he glanced at her coldly. "I'm a little tired. I don't have an appetite. I'll go back to my room to rest first." His cold attitude made her pause. "Oh, all right." After 3 years of not seeing each other, Lu Qingji had really become somewhat distant. The scene shifted to the tea room. He poured her a cup of tea while she was still lost in thought. "Since Qingji came back, not only has he taken over Qingya Peak again, but my daily life has also been strictly controlled by him. Thinking about it, his attitude is really different. Why do I always feel like he's distant with me?" He interrupted her thoughts, offering the tea. "Master, please have some tea." She responded gently after hearing him. "Don't trouble yourself. I heard from Elder Su that you were injured when you went down the mountain. Let me take a look." He immediately refused. "It's nothing. Those injuries have long healed. If there's nothing else, I'll go practice my swordsmanship in the bamboo forest." He left without looking back, turning a deaf ear to her calls, determined to leave the room. His back was to her, appearing cold and distant. The system cat appeared and asked, "What's wrong?" She said sadly, "This time Qingji has become distant with me. He used to always cling to me, but now he's so cold. The change is too fast." The cat reminded her, don't expect the villain's mind to be as you wish. As long as you don't oppose him and listen to everything he says, it'll be fine. Oh no, she felt something was strange in the bamboo forest. Bamboos fell one after another under the decisive sword energy. Lu Qingji looked like he was about to go chop someone down, having nearly cut down all the bamboo nearby. Ming Wang appeared out of nowhere, watching him practice his sword. Senior brother is so amazing, senior brother. Can I practice with you? The little guy was very polite, yet you flung your sword right next to his face. Where did your manners go? Seeing your attitude, the child could only say, senior brother, do you not like me? I can tell just by looking at your face. In order not to upset him, you told a small lie. No, the child couldn't tell whether it was true or false, only knowing that this senior brother didn't dislike him. And that was enough. I really like you, senior brother. To please you, he repeated all the good things Master had said. Master always used to say that you were not only good-looking, but also diligent in your cultivation and amazing at everything. Now I finally get to see you practice your swordsmanship. As soon as Master was mentioned, you were immediately captivated, and your hand gripping the sword stopped. The curious cat turned and asked, I understand. Is that all Master told you? Children don't lie. Yes, Master also said that although you've suffered a lot since childhood, you're still a good person. How good? If you're going to say I'm good, you'd better give me some specific examples, or I won't believe you. The little guy stretched out his arms, gesturing. Master said you're this good. After some sweet talk, he finally smiled. I have something to do. I'll practice swordsmanship with you next time. You patted his head, and he didn't object. Okay. The scene shifts to a room filled with the fragrance of wood, echoing with a call, Master. I made tea. You lifted the teapot in one hand and pulled back the curtain with the other. Disciple is here. But what came into view was Master already sound asleep. Master was napping. You painstakingly made tea, but she fell asleep. It was truly speechless. You called out, Master, wanting to confirm if she was sleeping deeply. Looking at her delicate face, you couldn't help but gently poke her. I'm sorry. Disciple didn't mean to be cold to you these past few days. You were still sulking, but how could you stay silent forever? Just touching her face wasn't enough. You mustered your courage and leaned in for a closer look, stroking her face while muttering, why did you take another disciple? You really hit the nail on the head. You leaned against her, your thoughts growing bolder. Master, I want to kiss you. Cheek against cheek. Disciple knows you don't like this, but I've already fallen for you. Your thoughts became increasingly possessive. Disciple wants you. Your fair back was facing Master, looking as if you had fallen asleep. Luo Chio came to check on you, but your actions seemed suspicious and unhealthy. In the antique room, the cabinets and shelves were all made of solid wood. Luo Chio sat up groggily, having just had a wonderful sleep, completely unaware of when the sun had set. She had slept so soundly from noon until dark that she was almost completely disoriented. As soon as she woke up, the cat reminded her not to forget her mission. Thank goodness you're awake. Look at the system notification. It's been nagging for ages. The system's information panel popped up, knowing she could no longer escape work. Luo Chio resigned herself to slaving away for unpaid capitalism. All right, I know. And this time, the mission was simply unbelievable. Main Mission 3, share a bed with Lu Qingji and use the aphrodisiac powder. Upon hearing the mission's content, she froze, stunned for a good while before reacting. What? Share a bed with Lu Qingji and use aphrodisiac powder. Even my grandparents can't save me this time. She couldn't believe this outrageous mission, grabbing the cat and shaking it furiously. Are you crazy or am I crazy? The cat, nearly shaken to pieces, could only softly coax her. If you don't complete the mission, you'll be struck by lightning. Only then did she spare the cat, throwing it aside with disdain. Fine, I'll go, all right. Although extremely reluctant, she could only grudgingly accept it. That's more like it. However, she was already scheming. The mission only said to use the aphrodisiac powder. It didn't say she had to be involved herself. The scene cuts to a solitary house in the silent night. Luo Chio stood at the door, repeatedly knocking and calling for the person inside. Chungji opened the door. Receiving no response, she boldly pushed the door open. He's not here. He wouldn't be wandering around outside in the middle of the night, would he? Chungji, I'm coming in. A figure, whiter than jade, lay on the bed with their back to her, perhaps already in a sweet dream. She walked to the bedside, watching him sleep. Asleep. Chungji is sleeping without a blanket, and this sleeping posture is so strange. But he wasn't asleep at all, but engaging in the kind of shameful act every man does. One hand held silk, the other doing something indecent under the covers. Master, I like you. She was shocked to see what he was doing, even more shocked by the silk garment in his hand. Chungji, isn't that my clothing? He was still immersed in his own little world when he suddenly opened his eyes and saw the scene before him, his face flushing red as a ripe tomato. He saw Master standing there, staring at him fixedly. Master! She quickly regained her composure and hurriedly explained, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. His large, strong hand grasped hers. Master! He pulled her closer, putting on a pitiful expression and pleading, Master, don't go. His voice carried a whimpering tone of coquetry. Unable to resist his handsome, pleading face, she could only turn her head to hide her embarrassment. Then let go of my hand first. But he refused to let go, instead gripping her hand even tighter. Facing the object of his affections, he finally mustered all his courage to confess the words he had been holding back. Master, I like you. These sweet words caused the medicine bottle in her hand to instantly fall. Chungji's voice still echoed, Master, I was wrong. The medicine bottle fell to the ground, shattering into pieces. She panicked, watching the precious powder slip through her fingers, her face filled with anxiety. Oh no, this must be incredibly rare. Otherwise, why would Master be so nervous? What is this stuff? He suddenly realized it was an aphrodisiac. Wow, Master would have some explaining to do. Afraid of being misunderstood, she immediately demanded its return. Give it back to me. But not only did he not return it, he teased her. Does Master want me to use the crippling powder instead? She firmly denied his baseless speculation. But he didn't believe her at all, his robust body taking another step closer. He looked at Master with tenderness, leaning in to whisper teasingly in her ear. This clearly fell out of Master's clothes. This is the first time Master has lied to me. Gentle words washed over her, causing her face to flush crimson. Looking up at the man who towered over her, she cautiously asked, Chungji, do you know what this medicine is? This kind of thing, only someone experienced would understand, right? He twirled a strand of her hair between his fingers. Why don't we try it and see? His words were laden with meaning. Suddenly, he shifted the topic from the medicine to the color of his eyes. Master, do you know? Everyone is afraid of people with heterochromia. She only knew that every demon lord had heterochromia, but her answer completely missed the point. That's just an excuse. Heterochromia allows one to see through people's souls. That's why they're afraid. He spoke with an incredibly suggestive expression. No one wants to be seen through, right? It's quite terrifying, isn't it? Luo Chio was stunned speechless by this earth-shattering revelation. What? He knew all along that I wasn't the original Master Luo Chio, but he still played along with me. He pressed her against the wall, holding the medicine bottle up to her eyes. Respecting one's teacher, following the rules, this disciple has always been obedient. But Master, why did you make an exception and sneak into my room in the middle of the night? Her face burned bright red, but he still wouldn't let her go. Master taught me from a young age, and now you want to drug me. The distance between them shrunk. Couldn't Master find another reason to approach me? Like perhaps being momentarily captivated by this disciple's beauty, wanted to taste this disciple's flavor. She felt utterly humiliated. I didn't. He seized the opportunity to speak frankly. Then why doesn't this disciple seduce Master? I want to taste Master's flavor. As soon as he finished speaking, he leaned down and kissed her lips, his fervor catching her completely off guard. A heated kiss between Master and disciple. Luo Chio was shocked by his actions, while Chungji was completely immersed. He reluctantly left her lips. Master, I like you. Their breaths mingled, the atmosphere thick with awkwardness. The moment he released her, she pushed him away. Stay away from me. She slapped him hard, trying to bring him to his senses, repeatedly questioning her disciple. Lu Chingji, what are you doing? One slap wasn't enough. She raised her hand to strike again. You unfilial disciple. Snap out of it. She was anxious about his defiance. Chingji had gone mad. But before her hand could fall, he caught her wrist, gripping it tightly and pressing her against the wall, pleading softly, Master, don't be angry. This disciple knows his mistake. He even put on a pitiful expression, hoping to gain her sympathy. His handsome face was inches from hers, forcing her to stammer. What do you want to do? This is too outrageous. How did the plot suddenly become like this? Tom, where are you? The fear in her eyes made his heart clench. Are you afraid of me, Master? I'm sorry. A man who dared to act, dared to speak his true feelings. He used a spell to erase her memory as atonement. This disciple was too impulsive. Before she could react, the spell took hold. Wait, you. Before she could finish, the spell took effect, and she lost her balance, falling into his arms. Forget about tonight, Master. His blue eyes glanced sideways. And you? The system cat, who had been hiding behind the door, was discovered. It meowed, trying to play it cool. He turned to the cat, a gentle smile on his face, raising his hand as if to cast a spell to frighten it. Oh, then I'll only believe in dead cats. A red spell shot towards the cat, forcing it to dodge with lightning speed, jumping up to cling to Luo Chio, pleading, he wants to kill me. Luo Chio, wake up. The villain wants to kill me. Annoyed by the cat, he pushed it away, warning, shut up. If you wake Master, I'll kill you. The cat was surprised. You can hear me, he said coldly. That's a redundant question. Don't ask what you shouldn't. He picked her up, giving the cat a meaningful look. I'm sparing you this time only because I don't want Master to be upset. If Master knew about what happened today. The cat understood the stakes and quickly swore, don't worry, my lips are sealed. Regarding the medicine, he turned to the cat and asked where it came from, daring to give her that kind of aphrodisiac. Did you give Master that medicine? The cat immediately denied it, raising its head towards the sky. It wasn't me, it was him, it was fate. This was hard to believe. To make itself more convincing, the orange cat even raised its paw and swore to the heavens. I'm telling the truth. He carried his master, gently placing her on the bed. Then, turning back, he glared fiercely at the cat and ordered, get out. Afraid of being implicated, the cat turned and left. All right, I'm going. Back to the matter at hand, he sat by the bed, admiring her sleeping face as if looking at his lover, which she was. His restless hand gently caressed her small face, and he tenderly placed a kiss on her forehead. The scene was like a real-life sleeping beauty, emotions swirling with time. After tonight, Master would probably never be able to tempt her disciple like this again. The next day, everyone was greeted with a table full of delicacies, soups, savory dishes, fried foods, and stir-fries, all arranged with appealing colors, aromas, and flavors. Luo Chio, being a foodie, couldn't resist the temptation of the food. So many delicious dishes. Qingji, hurry up and eat. Ever since you came back, the food has become so much more delicious. She ate and laughed happily, as if she had found a treasure. Seeing her like this, he couldn't help but feel happy too. Looking at Master's expression, he was certain she had truly forgotten about last night. Noticing his unwavering gaze, she urged, Qingji, why are you staring at me? Why aren't you eating? He helped himself to the food without hesitation. Nothing, I just think Master has lost a lot of weight over the years. Eat more. Too much salty food isn't good. I'm also worried there won't be enough food for you. There's still soup in the kitchen. I'll go get you some. Mingwang also clamored to go and play. Let's go together then. The wooden door quickly closed. She noticed the system cat beside her had been listless since early morning, like a deflated bun. What's wrong? Why so down in the dumps, so early in the morning? What happened? The cat looked dejected, as if it hadn't eaten in days. I'm fine. How am I going to tell Luo Chio about last night? If the villain finds out, I'll really become a dead cat. As if things weren't bad enough. Just as the meal was getting into full swing, the system suddenly popped up with a mission. Luo Chio, a system mission has arrived. The system announced the mission like it was reading from a script. The content is, go to the Immortal Alliance conference, take the jade-like Xiao Chun as your disciple, and personally give him a sword. The preamble is too long. He really is the protagonist. But something fell off. Mission 4. How do we skip a step? What about Mission 3? The cat beside her immediately changed the subject. Maybe the system has a bug. Speaking of the Immortal Alliance conference, I remember it's in a month. Major immortal sects will send their disciples to participate, and Xiao Chun will be there too. The image of the male protagonist from the novel appeared in her mind. Although Xiao Chun was an outer disciple, he performed exceptionally well in the competition, breaking all his spiritual veins in the final round and winning first place. The plot replayed in her mind. She remembered this competition not only allowed Xiao Chun to win the female lead, Yuan Bailey, but also made him famous throughout the world, becoming an invincible chosen one. And from here on, Lu Qingji would be gradually destroyed by the original host, ushering in a pitiful life without love. Thinking of this, she sighed deeply. Lu Qingji would not only be easily suppressed and bullied by Xiao Chun, but also suffer inhuman torture. Thinking of these things, she couldn't help but cry, startling the cat. The contrast was hard to bear. Are you satisfied now? She sat up straight, her face full of indignation as she complained about the absurd plot. In the same book, why does the male lead have everything go his way, while the little guy suffers so much? As she was lamenting, the door suddenly opened. Chungji and Ming Wang walked in together, each holding a bowl of hot soup, their faces beaming with springtime smiles. The soup is ready. Drink it while it's hot. She couldn't bear to push her disciple into danger, having already made up her mind. Since I'm here in this life, I must protect him at all costs. Luo Qiu smiled and beckoned her disciple over. Chungji, stop messing around. Come and sit. I have something to tell you. She only called for one, but both disciples answered in unison, Master. He obediently sat down. Master, what is it? She slowly explained. The Immortal Alliance Conference is in a month, and all disciples of the Cloud Ascending Immortal Sect must participate. This is your first time participating since coming down the mountain. Are you feeling any pressure? He felt this competition was nothing. A piece of cake for him. Don't worry, Master. I've cultivated for so long, and I'm fully prepared. I'll definitely get a good ranking this time. He said a good ranking, but in his heart, he aimed for higher. I heard the first place gets to cultivate the Yellow Springs ancient scripture, and the champion also receives Sect Master Yun's Kunwa sword. Master will be so happy if I win. Seeing his ambition, she comforted him. The Immortal Alliance Conference is meant for disciples to learn from each other and make friends. It's your first time participating, so the ranking isn't important. Just do your best. Since Master said so, he relaxed a little. I understand, Master. After instructing her disciple, she fell into deep thought. The system's main mission is for me to take Xiao Chun as my disciple and personally give him the Kunwa sword. No, Xiao Chun has the protagonist's halo. I definitely can't beat him. She seemed to be objectively assessing the strength of her disciple and the story's male lead. So Xiao Chun will definitely be the champion, but my disciple's cultivation isn't bad either. What if he actually beats Xiao Chun? This mission, Chungji, he saw her distressed expression and guessed her thoughts. Master seems worried. Are you afraid I'll be disappointed if I don't get a good ranking? Her worried face was heartbreakingly beautiful in his eyes. Master's so cute. I must win the championship. I can't let her down. Love makes one blind, indeed. 1 month later, the Immortal Alliance Conference officially began. Officials from both clans witnessed the event, and the audience was a sea of people, all eager to witness the swordsmanship of the masters. Chungji entered the arena with a calm and composed demeanor, ready to conquer all opponents. His opponent couldn't withstand his fierce attacks and directly surrendered. I forfeit. The victor was decided, and the audience was in an uproar. Everyone felt his progress was astonishing, calling him a genius without exaggeration. Some also believed his excellence stemmed from being venerable Luo Qiu's disciple. The discussions didn't affect his humble advancement to the finals. You flatter me. Luo Qiu sat in the stands, gazing at her favorite disciple with eyes full of affection. As expected of my good disciple. I'm so proud. The sect master sitting beside her, seeing her proud expression, said with a hint of mockery, Luo Qiu, I didn't expect you to raise such an outstanding disciple. I heard that the Xiao family's young master, Xiao Chun, also made it to the finals. Who do you think will win if he faces Lu Qingji? Qingji has endured hardships and progressed quickly, while Xiao Chun also has good natural talent. They are both promising. There was a hint of jealousy in her voice. Luo Qiu didn't bother with her, simply taking a leisurely sip of tea and saying they each have their own strengths. There's nothing to compare. At this moment, the finalists were called to prepare. Qingji looked at his upcoming opponent with determination and fighting spirit. The Xiao family scholar entered the arena, his aura like the morning sun illuminating golden flowers. He was indeed a naturally gifted individual. I am Xiao Chun. Please advise me. He bowed in greeting. A promising talent indeed. Although somewhat reluctant, it was a friendly competition after all, so she offered a polite smile. I am Lu Qingji. Behind that smile was a deep thinker. If I defeat him, Master's gaze will only be on me. Please advise me. His tone was casual, but Xiao Chun felt an overwhelmingly oppressive killing intent. This person is clearly smiling, yet he feels incredibly dangerous. The drums sounded, and the final match officially began. Qingji didn't waste any time. With a flash, his sword pointed directly at Xiao Chun, giving him no chance to counterattack. Xiao Chun could only turn a block, secretly admiring. So fast. Their swords clashed. The two were evenly matched, their sword auras surging and dust flying. The audience was divided into two factions. One side shouted, Lu Qingji's swordsmanship is too fast. The other side said, Xiao Chun is also very strong. I think he has a better chance of winning. So everyone jumped on the bandwagon and supported him. After all, everyone trusted the male lead more than the second male lead. I bet on Xiao Chun. He's been a genius since childhood, not like that small fry Lu Qingji. Regardless of the audience's discussions, the duel on stage remained intense. Xiao Chun felt a pang of fear as Lu Qingji's sword tip pressed closer. Oh no, I can't dodge this. The match ended with the sword tip pointed directly at his neck. Lu Qingji coldly said to him, You lose. Since that was the case, Xiao Chun had nothing to say. I lose. Thank you for the match. I thought I had some skill, but I lost in 3 moves. This guy's cultivation is too deep. The championship, of course, belonged to him. Achieving such a miracle, others would surely be happy for him. I'm the champion. Master will definitely be happy for me. 3 of the 4 sect masters were praising him, but she alone was stunned like a statue, completely shocked by the result. She shook the cat frantically, demanding what's going on. Didn't you say Xiao Chun would win? Where's the protagonist's halo? Lu Qingji won. How are we supposed to continue the mission? The cat looked equally bewildered. I don't know. The system said to follow the original mission line. She pinched the cat hard. Aren't you deliberately making things difficult for me? Lu Qingji won the championship, but I still have to give the Kunwu sword to Xiao Chun. How do I explain that? The cat cried out in despair, but the heavenly tribulation. At the mention of heavenly tribulation, she immediately complied. Not even the system cat could save her. Yunsini took out the treasure, ready to award it to the champion of the competition. Lu Qingji, your outstanding performance at the Immortal Alliance Conference, winning the championship, was witnessed by all. I now bestow upon you the Kunwu sword as a reward. He knelt down and kowtowed, accepting the treasure. Thank you, Sect Master. Everything went smoothly until someone suddenly shouted, Wait! She stepped forward and grabbed the sword. The disciples and fellow sect members were stunned. Junior sister, Sect Master. Lu Qingji's face lit up. Master, are you going to present the award to me personally? This happiness came too suddenly, but unexpectedly. She turned and offered the sword to the protagonist, leaving her disciple standing there like a statue. She got straight to the point. I see you possess great talent. Would you be willing to take me as your master? Xiao Chun was still stunned, unsure of what was happening. Seeing her inexplicable actions, the sect master's expression changed. Junior sister, Sect Master. He immediately bowed and agreed. Of course, I'm willing. I've been waiting for this opportunity. Hearing his agreement, she handed him the sword. Then consider this Kunwu sword a meeting gift. He repeatedly waved his hands in refusal. Although he liked novel treasures, he still respected the results of the competition. This isn't right. This sword belongs to senior brother Lu. She interrupted directly. This sword isn't suitable for him. He has other options. Luo Qiu turned to look at her disciple, wanting to see his reaction. Qingji, what do you think? Luo Qiu handed the sword to someone else, her head subconsciously turning to look at her disciple's expression. The little guy clearly won first place, but I still have to give the sword to Xiao Chun. The atmosphere seemed to freeze. She worried their relationship would change. The little guy must be very upset right now, incredibly disappointed in his master. But unexpectedly, he smiled gently. It's just a sword. Whatever master thinks is best, I will listen to master. He showed no jealousy at all. He was simply too understanding. He himself didn't mind, but everyone else was shocked. No one expected him to be so indifferent to the sword. That was the Kunwu sword. A treasure countless people dreamed of, even fought tooth and nail for. Yet he simply said no to it. His magnanimity moved her. The little guy was so understanding, it really made her want to dote on him. After the mission is completed, she must compensate him well. Since her disciple had said so, she forced the sword into Xiao Chen's hands. Take it. The treasure was handed over so easily, even as he desperately tried to refuse. Just as everything seemed to be smoothly concluded, a female voice suddenly rang out from the crowd. Venerable Luo Qiu, what you're doing is unfair. Since Lu Qingji won first place, according to the rules of the Immortal Alliance Conference, this Kunwa sword should belong to him. She didn't know where this girl came from, daring to stand up and question her. But even more noteworthy was the girl's heroic and beautiful appearance, her face streaked with tears, her voice firm as she refuted her. How can the Venerable give the sword as a meeting gift to a newly accepted disciple? Luo Qiu didn't recognize her, so she asked, "Who are you?" The girl replied without hesitation, replying to the Venerable, "My name is Yuan Moli." The name sounded familiar. Yuan Moli, so it's the female lead. The female sect master felt she had a point. "I think she's right. Luo Qiu, you're too biased, and you're addressing your newly accepted disciple so intimately." The commotion attracted more onlookers. Yin Sini didn't speak up for her either, instead agreeing with the other side's view. "Junior sister, you are indeed being a bit unfair." Hearing the surrounding discussions, she felt a bit resentful. "TSK, are these people tired of living? How am I supposed to complete this mission?" Seeing his master being besieged, Lu Qingji couldn't stand it any longer. Master did nothing wrong. He handed the sword directly to Xiao Chun, his attitude still gentle. "Since Master gave the sword to you, I also find Luo Qiu's action shocking, but his are even more so." His perfect smile bloomed with its signature radiance. "Then please accept it, junior brother." His aura was even more dazzling than the midday sun. Despite her disciple's consideration, she still felt a faint unease. "Strange, why do I suddenly feel a chill?" He didn't refuse, but respectfully accepted the sword with both hands. A surge of magical power flowed from the sword, enveloping his hands. "Thank you, senior brother." With the task complete, the system notification popped up, "Task 4 completed," restoring 40% of Luo Qiu's cultivation, rewarding 1 bottle of Camellia Dew. The 9-9 heavenly tribulation finally passed swiftly. Xiao Chen looked towards the sect master, seeking his opinion. He smiled happily for his sister's new disciple. "The Kunwa sword has already recognized you as its master. If you are fated with this sword, and Chengji also agrees with junior sister's actions, then let it be." No one cared about this matter anymore, but there were still people who liked to stir up trouble and divide everyone. "No, this sword cannot be given to him." Yuan Moli's face darkened as she stepped onto the stage. It turned out she was also reborn. In her past life, Xiao Chun used this sword to kill Lu Qingji. He, Xiao Chun, was a heartless person. In her past life, he caused her blindness, making her miss out on Lu Qingji. In this life, she must stop him and, together with Lu Qingji, avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. Luo Qiu looked at the girl with confusion. Why not? Being stopped while doing a good deed made her very unhappy. What's going on now? This villain is kindly trying to bring the male and female leads together, and you're not happy. The female lead was speechless and quickly found an excuse. Having exhausted her excuses, she looked pitifully at Chengji, her eyes full of pleading. In her past life, Lu Qingji loved her wholeheartedly and had a hostile relationship with Luo Qiu, so he would definitely side with her. But she couldn't produce any evidence, so she could only stare at him, tears almost overflowing. But he just glanced at her indifferently. Luo Qiu saw it all. "Oh my, that shy little look. It seems someone has a little something for Chengji," she thought, turning to look at him, trying to figure out the boy's thoughts. He thought his master was looking at him affectionately, so he gave her a bright smile. She really couldn't understand whether this child was truly foolish or just pretending. "Why are you smiling so brightly at me? You should be smiling at the female lead." She winked at him, signaling him to turn his attention to the girl and stop staring at her. "That little girl is about to burst into tears. You should at least show some concern." Useless. He saw her strange expression. "Master, this hint is a bit too obvious." She wondered if he would understand. Understand. Of course he did, but only for her. He thought she had something in her eye, which was why she kept blinking. "Let this disciple blow it out for you." The female lead was completely stuffed with this wave of dog food, clenching her fists and forcing down this high-quality meal. "What's going on?" She trembled with anger. "How can Lu Qingji not even look at me, but be so close to Luo Qiu? Could my rebirth have deviated the plot?" Luo Qiu sensed something was wrong and pushed him away. "All right, I'm fine." Why was this person like this? Any normal person could see that the female lead was waiting for him, yet he insisted on causing trouble. She pulled herself together, ready for the next step of her plan. "Forget it. Let Master give you a hand." She walked up to the female lead and said gently, "This venerable sees that you have good potential. Would you be willing to take me as your master? This proposal shocked the sect masters and disciples of the various sects. What kind of recruitment method is this? It's exactly the same as before. And weren't they just discussing the ownership of the sword? Now they're recruiting disciples again. He, standing at the back, was completely dumbfounded. Can accepting disciples be this casual? Yuan Moli agreed without hesitation. How could I miss such a good opportunity? If I can become Luo Chio's disciple, I can approach Lu Qingji openly. Then from today onwards, you are my disciple, she said, but thought to herself, great, now both the male and female leads are my disciples. Even if Lu Qingji turns evil in the future, I'll have a life-saving charm. Her high-profile actions angered another female sect master. Enough, Luo Chio. You've taken the top 3 of the Immortal Alliance Conference as your disciples. There should be a limit. She ignored the sect master's curses and walked straight past, replying sarcastically. This venerable spoils her disciples based on merit. All right, disciples, let's go home. The girl, publicly humiliated, couldn't accept it and lost control of her emotions, insisting on arguing with her. Luo Chio, you've gone too far. Yin Sini quickly stepped in to mediate, otherwise a fight would break out. All right, junior sister, calm down. There are still many disciples you can take. Before leaving, Xiao Qin called out to the female lead, having something to say. Miss Yuan, please wait. She turned around and asked with a smile, is there anything else, senior brother Xiao? He went straight to the point, asking if Yuan Moli disliked him. Her eyes clearly held hostility when she looked at me. Could I have offended her before? Yuan Moli heard the question, but her expression showed no intention of answering. A man and a woman were engaged in intimate activities in a room, their clothes disheveled. Yuan Moli smiled sweetly at Xiao Chun. How could senior brother think that? We are both disciples of venerable Luo Chio, so we are now fellow disciples. From now on, how could I possibly dislike you? Seeing her kind expression, he scratched his head and chuckled good-naturedly. Sorry, it seems I misunderstood you, junior sister. She maintained her smile, but this time, it was laced with coldness and cunning. Hey, how could I possibly hate you? It was as if she wanted to strangle him in his sleep, this small thought completely contrary to the innocence she displayed. Xiao Chun, oblivious to the wolf in sheep's clothing, continued to happily interact with his new junior sister. Then I hope for your guidance in the future, junior sister. Meanwhile, her mind screamed with memories of his past life. In my past life, I loved you so much, even though you couldn't forget your white moonlight, I still stayed by your side. This girl definitely had some unresolved issues. I originally wanted to spend the rest of my life with you, but unfortunately, Xiao Chan was always surrounded by beauties who resembled Luo Chio, and he never even looked at me directly. From that moment on, resentment began to fester in my heart. Even after we became husband and wife, you ignored my objections and insisted on seeing those women who looked like Luo Chio, trampling on my feelings. She not only had to endure a painful marriage, but also face the gossip of outsiders. They didn't understand the truth and thought I was being unreasonable. If it weren't for my current status and cultivation being insufficient to kill Xiao Chan, I would have done it already. Immersed in her dark thoughts, she didn't notice someone calling her. Junior sister, are you all right? Hearing the concerned voice, she put on a smile again. I'm fine, senior sister Ing Tao. I was just lost in thought. Xiao Chun seized the opportunity to offer to escort her back, hoping to gradually get closer. It's getting late. Let me escort you back, junior sister. She didn't refuse his kindness. Then I'll trouble you, senior brother. Night deepened, and the hall fell silent. In a certain room, or rather, a certain door that hadn't been properly closed, a crack quietly opened in the middle of the night. Luo Chio was fast asleep, wrapped in warm blankets on a soft bed, when a tall figure walked in and stood before her. Master. The person couldn't help but reach out and gently caress her soft lips. Master already had disciples. Lu Qingji, filled with jealousy, whispered his accusations against his heartless master while she slept. Why do you always take an unrelated people as disciples? He slipped in her bed, still caressing her face. Master's love is truly too broad. He gently kissed her cheek, covered in 2 layers of foundation and 3 layers of blush, but it didn't matter. His eyes flashed with a possessive madness. This disciple will make it so that from now on, you will only look at me. This forbidden love between master and disciple had long crossed all boundaries. Even as she slept, he would act intimately towards her. Master, this disciple truly loves you. I don't care about Ali. Just as he was immersed in his fantasy, a voice interrupted the moment. Lu Qingji, she doesn't care about you at all. A dark figure stood behind him, grinning. Why do you torture yourself like this? It was truly touching to see everyone so concerned about him. He woke up with a start, clearly disgusted by this entity, his face turning ugly as he spoke to it. What are you doing here? I clearly destroyed you during my cultivation. How could you? It raised an eyebrow at him. Are you wondering how I found this place? Don't forget, you are still a demonic vessel. As long as you have demonic blood in your body, I can find you, even if you're in the 18th layer of hell. This thing must have used some kind of wall-penetrating technique to peep at others. His face grew even uglier, showing no welcome to this uninvited guest. It floated up and sized up his master, then suddenly blurted out, "This woman is very ordinary. With your high status in the demon realm, why lower yourself to be a disciple? Why stay by her side?" It whispered in his ear, circling him, try to tempt him. Kill her, kill all the cultivators of the cloud, ascending immortal sect. The highest position in the demon realm will be yours. But he cared nothing for status or fame in the demon realm. Shut up. Your words disgust me. He drew his weapon, threatening it. Get out. He roared, his sword pointed at the dark figure's face. Go back to where you belong. Don't even think about touching a single hair on my master. If you come at me, I might spare you, but if you dare touch the person I love, forget it. That thing knows master is my weakness. It's clearly casting a spell on her. I can't just kill it, because if I attack too forcefully, master will be the one to suffer. Seeing master convulse like that, my heart breaks. I gently cupped her face, wanting to ease her pain. She trembled all over in unbearable pain. Seeing her like this, Chungji's heart ached even more. Master, what's wrong? He turned and yelled at the dark figure. What have you done to master? The dark figure just chuckled sinisterly and said, just a little trick to trap her in the demon realm's most terrifying nightmare. Consider my proposal carefully. We will meet again. With that, it vanished, leaving Luo Chio writhing in agony, both mentally and physically. Pain racked her entire body. Her eyes were tightly shut, as if she had reached the peak of suffering. Then she slowly opened her eyes. Somehow, she was tightly bound by chains. Real chains. Looking at her bruised and battered body, she couldn't help but wonder, have I been kidnapped? A familiar figure in black robes approached. Oh, it's Lu Qingji. He tilted his head and gave her a smile. Still alive. Although his words were indifferent, coming from him, they carried a hint of gentleness. He approached Luo Chio, a smile playing on his lips. Looks like master is quite resilient. Her mind was a jumble. What is going on? My favorite disciple is saying these things to me. Chungji, his sword, previously sheathed, was now drawn, pointed at the person she hated the most, master. The sword pressed against her throat, and she trembled with fear, completely unable to recognize the disciple before her. Chungji, what's wrong with you? He tightly gripped her slender neck, and the pain was so intense that Luo Chio couldn't even see the sore in front of her. Don't kill me. He simply sneered at her pleas. The nightmare was too terrifying. She woke up with a start. Don't kill me. The fear from the dream still lingered. Her face was pale, her breathing ragged as she recalled the horrifying dream. Chungji sat beside her, his face full of concern, reaching out to comfort her. Master, did you have a nightmare? He asked gently. She instinctively slapped his hand away, glaring at him warily. Don't touch me. She recoiled, her face filled with terror. Chungji anxiously watched Master's trembling body, unsure of what he had done wrong. Master, what's wrong? Are you afraid of me? How could this be? Even the system cat sensed the strange atmosphere and came over to watch the commotion, meowing and running towards her, inwardly complaining about her impulsiveness. Luo Chio, what's wrong? Did you have a nightmare? You even dared to hit the villainous female lead. You're so bold. You've got the guts of a bear. Her face flushed, her breath coming in short gasps, as if she had just experienced something terrifying. I'm fine, she reassured herself. Yes, it was just a nightmare. In reality, Chungji and I have a good relationship. As long as I follow the system's plot, I can definitely avoid the ending in the book. After calming down, she began to worry about her disciple. I am sorry, Chungji. I was a little confused just now. Did it hurt when I hit you? Let me see. He didn't complain at all. Instead, he took her hand and comforted her. It's fine. The smile on his face belonged to only one person, No matter how that girl treated him, he always responded with gentleness. It doesn't hurt at all. Master, don't worry. Seeing his tolerance and magnanimity, she could only cough a few times, changing the subject. Qingji, actually, Master has something to discuss with you. He agreed without hesitation. What is it, Master? Tell me. Hearing her disciple's words, she didn't beat around the bush. Since I've taken Xiao Chun and Yuan Moli as my disciples, I certainly can't let them continue living at the foot of the mountain. It turned out she wanted his help. I plan to clean up the 2 empty rooms next to the hidden ice pavilion for them to live in. Qingji, what do you think? On the surface, she was asking for his opinion, but in reality, she had already made up her mind. If she could keep Xiao Chun and Yuan Moli by her side, her safety would be more assured, and she wouldn't have to be constantly on edge. The air around him suddenly turned cold. Have a move in. He sounded like he was finding fault with her. A moment later, his expression changed in an instant. All right, I'll listen to Master. He probably had 100 different personality switches. While speaking to Master, his attitude was gentle, but his hand unconsciously tugged at the corner of her dress, expressing his dissatisfaction. Then let's leave it at that for now. As they talked, they both grew hungry, and he took the opportunity to invite her to breakfast. Master, you're awake. Let's go have breakfast. I'll go tidy up those 2 rooms now. His words coaxed a smile onto her face. Thank you for your hard work, she said from the bed. He was a good boy, but as soon as he turned around, he reverted back to his scheming self. The scene shifts to a side room in the residence. Whether the main house or the side rooms, these rooms share a common characteristic: exquisite decoration, especially the wood-designed interiors. Lu Chengji diligently cleaned the room, his working figure quite captivating. Luo Qiu, seeing him work so hard, felt a pang of sympathy and brought him a pot of tea to quench his thirst. Qingji, the room is already very clean. Come and have some tea and rest. Hearing his beloved's voice, like a babbling brook, he immediately responded to her concern. Yes, Master. Just as everything was peaceful, a squeaking sound suddenly came from under the table. A chubby mouse was hiding underneath. Seeing her staring at it, the mouse turned and squeaked a few hellos. Before the mouse could do anything else, she blasted it with a spell, scaring the wits out of it. Somehow, all the spells she cast were dodged by the bouncing mouse. Terrified of mice, she lost her composure and frantically waved her spells, forcing the mouse to desperately use god-level dodging skills to survive. A mouse! A mouse! Why is there a mouse here? I'm so scared of mice. Worried that her fear of mice would cause her blood pressure to spike, he quickly stopped her. Master, calm down. Too frightened to even open her eyes, she didn't know what was happening. Lu Qingji, there's a mouse in this room, she commanded. Catch it quickly. Then she turned and hugged her disciple tightly. He patted his master. Master, don't be afraid. Being embraced by the beauty emboldened him. Your disciple is here. He immediately cast a spell at the guilty-looking mouse. Somehow, the system cat was also affected. The blow hit both Tom and Jerry at the same time. The mouse, scorched black, died before it could even squeak. After completing the task, he happily smoothed his master's hair and called out, Master, you can open your eyes now. The mouse is dead. She slowly opened her eyes, her soul almost gone after the obstacle was removed. The sudden close proximity made her a little scared. Why were their faces so close, like in a toothpaste commercial? Feeling awkward, she quickly pushed him away. How embarrassing. Lu Qingji wanted to savor the moment a little longer. Master, he teased her, moving closer. Your disciple didn't see anything just now. Their eyes met, the atmosphere thick with awkwardness. Master, please care for your disciple. Don't abandon me, okay? Seeing her stubbornness, he relented. All right, if Master doesn't care for her disciple, then I won't stay here either. He turned around and started his playing dead routine. I even made some pastries this morning, thinking I could eat them with Master after cleaning the room. These words hit her foodie soul right where it hurt. Wait, he was overjoyed at just those 2 words. As expected, he immediately turned back, pretending nothing had happened, and asked her, Master, do you have any other instructions for your disciple? Luo Qiu hesitantly asked about the new pastries. I haven't tried them yet. He didn't deny it, acting as if it were a matter of course. She was beating around the bush, wanting a taste, so she might as well be direct. Then I'll just have a little bit. Lu Qingji didn't mind her freeloading. Master, wait a moment. I'll go to the kitchen and get the pastries. She was practically begging. As soon as the disciple left, She patted the cat's head. Why didn't you catch the mouse just now? You made me lose face in front of my disciple. The cat sat innocently, looking as dull as a goldfish, holding its head and defending itself. I'm so noble. How could I do such menial work? Why use a sledgehammer to crack a nut? This cat was living too comfortably, getting this fat. It turned out it was all thanks to the disciples' arrangements. How amusing. The villain used an illusion to transform into a mouse, which the cat could see through at a glance. Yet she blamed the cat, and the cat even dared to talk back. The door opened, and the familiar master, the pastries are here, rang out. He entered, carrying a steaming bowl filled to the brim with pastries. Luo Chio's eyes lit up, pouncing on the food as soon as it arrived. The system cat face-bombed, exasperated by its owner's fickleness. It wasn't the newly accepted disciples, nor was it the villain's plot that was punished, but itself that was implicated. It cried silently in its heart. I wonder what tricks he'll pull at the Yellow Springs ancient trial in a few days. 3 days later, in a bamboo forest, Yin Sini looked seriously at the disciples of various sects and immediately activated the formation to enter the Yellow Springs ancient realm. This training is somewhat dangerous, so I'm warning everyone in advance to be careful, she cautioned. Before that, there's one more thing I need to remind everyone. In the Yellow Springs ancient city, the strong get stronger and the weak get weaker. There are a total of 3 trials. Lu Qingji listened attentively. Beside him stood a fellow sect member, disguised as Luo Chio. Within the ancient realm lay countless cultivation methods and treasures, but all depended on individual fate. One mustn't force it. The scene of the Yellow Springs gradually became clear, ghostly hands reaching out from the ground, the sky scorched black. Secondly, everything you see in the Yellow Springs ancient realm is something that has happened in the past. Once inside, do not attempt to change the original trajectory, or you will be swallowed by the ancient realm, leaving no trace. The scenery here is truly eerie. This also happens to be the next plot point. Luo Chio, having transmigrated into the book, knew that Xiao Wei would be injured and wanted to heal him, so she entered the ancient realm. This part of the plot worried her greatly. This time, disguised as senior sister Zhang, she followed along. If she could prevent Xiao Wei's injury, history wouldn't repeat itself. Her pensive appearance reminded one of someone. This female disciple had already attracted the attention of Lu Chengji beside her. Just as he was lost in thought, he suddenly heard someone call him, Senior Brother Lu. Yuan Moli approached with a bright smile, enthusiastically trying to team up with him. Once we enter the ancient realm, let's act together. We can look out for each other. This girl is good at picking people. Lu Qingji thought, I've already traversed the ancient realm in my past life, and I'm familiar with it in this one. This time, I will help Chung Yi find treasures and artifacts before Xiao Wei, leaving him with nothing. But he completely ignored her and directly rejected her request to team up. No need. She persistently reached out and grabbed his sleeve. Senior Brother Lu, let Ollie follow you. She kept tugging at his sleeve, so he had to fling her hand away. He reminded her to be mindful of her actions. Please behave yourself. Doing this in public is inappropriate. His coldness brought tears to her eyes. To comfort the young girl's fragile heart, a warm hand rested on Moli's shoulder. Xiao Chun, feeling sorry for his fellow sect member, offered to accompany her through the trials. If Senior Brother Lu doesn't want you, you can follow me. I will protect you well. This guy has a sweet tongue. His sunny smile instantly moved her. Thank you, Senior Brother. It seems she has attracted the attention of another scholar. Pei Yang from Rebirth Peak also wanted to join. Junior Sister Yuan, if you're willing, you can team up with me. Now a group of male disciples surrounded her, vying to be in her group. Junior Sister, take me with you. I'll take care of you the whole way. This is a classic case of a beauty causing trouble. Pei Yang didn't want these nobodies to follow such a beautiful girl. My cultivation is higher. It's safer for Junior Sister to follow me. Just as this competition for the beauty intensified, a female voice suddenly interjected. All right, everyone, calm down. Luo Chio, dressed as Jiangxia, possessed a dignified and elegant demeanor. Senior brothers, please think carefully and listen to what Senior Brother Wanduan has to say. We should prioritize forming teams to enter the ancient realm. Other matters can be discussed later. Her grace and poise attracted Pei Yang's gaze. He recognized her. You're Jiang Shurha, Junior Sister Zhang from Chuangxin Peak. You're also qualified to enter the ancient realm. This smooth-talking tomboy made her heart race. She tilted her head slightly, revealing a hint of shyness. Senior Brother Fawn. What a coincidence. Inwardly, she was secretly pleased. My disguise is truly effective. Even Feng Zhuang didn't recognize me. However, Lu Qingji probably already guessed. Speak of the devil. Lu Qingji grabbed her hand, his face full of suspicion. Jiang Shihe, this junior sister's name. An ambiguous atmosphere arose between them. He leaned close to her ear and teased in a low voice. Interesting, causing her to blush to the tips of her ears. She immediately pushed him away, tried to conceal her identity. Senior brother Lu, don't joke like that. She encouraged herself inwardly. Stay calm, don't panic. I use disguise and voice-changing techniques. Yesterday, I even lied to Lu Qingji about going into seclusion. He would never guess I'd be here. But this scene felt too familiar, as if she had done this kind of close proximity thing with a disciple before. He finally released her hand. Is there something on your face? He just smiled. No, you're just too nervous, junior sister. This guy's teasing skills are top-notch, leaving her blushing and helpless. Lu Qingji, come to think of it, is a flirting expert specializing in making young girls' hearts flutter. Senior brother Wan didn't delay any further and immediately activated the formation, sending the disciples away to prevent the ambiguous atmosphere from continuing. Let's go. The formation is open. Please enter the Yellow Springs ancient realm. A formation appeared beneath everyone's feet. Pei Yang seemed to recognize something. The scene changed, and everyone arrived in another world, a cold, desolate, and eerie snowfield, where a few sparrows perched on stiff, withered branches. Everything had been calm, but the formation that transported everyone startled the sparrows, sending them scattering. Everyone landed ungracefully on the dark, rough ground. The disguised Jiang Shihe ached all over. She tumbled to the ground, sore all over. Ouch! Lu Qingji helped her up. Junior sister, are you all right? A shocking sight lay before them. Huh? What is that? A massive, sinister gate appeared before the brave souls who dared to venture here. Its name was the Flower Between Worlds Gate. The disguised Jiang Shihe paled at the sight of this terrifying place. Yuan Moli, however, was beaming, finally able to be with the person she admired. She stayed close to Lu Qingji, giggling. The Flower Between Worlds Gate slowly opened, welcoming those brave enough to enter. Yuan Moli was stunned by the scene before her. What the hell is this? It definitely wasn't like this in my past life. Did I mess up the Yellow Springs ancient realm scenery after being reborn? Even if I memorized the map, I wouldn't have expected this. Lu Qingji, on the other hand, showed off his knowledge in front of everyone. 300 years ago, there was an ancient kingdom here called Huajian. According to ancestral records, Huajian suffered a catastrophic disaster and completely vanished. I never thought it would appear here. As he explained, he put his arm around the disguised Jiang Shihe, making her head spin. She slapped away the troublesome disciple's hand. How did you know that? She had to ask, to cover up her inner scream. This child's hands are too restless. He grinned, boasting thanks to Master's teachings. Her heart skipped a beat. Could my identity have been exposed? But then she thought, no, he's probably just saying that Master taught him all this. I should be proud of having taught such an outstanding disciple. That's right, this child doesn't forget to praise me even when we're out and about. Suddenly, his fingers intertwined with hers. Junior sister, what are you thinking about? He smiled, watching her dazed expression. Snapping back to reality, she replied, nothing. The two of them stood there flirting, while the others had already entered the city. Let's catch up with them and go in together. The scenery within Huajian City was lively, a stark contrast to the eerie atmosphere outside. Someone was hawking tonghalu, sweet and delicious tonghalu. Another was selling steam buns, fresh meat buns, piping hot buns. The scenery within the city was as clear as 4K, giving one goosebumps. The city's appearance was so realistic, completely different from the outside, giving a completely different feeling. As they walked, an old man approached and asked, "You two young ladies, are you from out of town?" Huajian City hasn't seen outsiders for many years. Encountering a local, she asked a few questions. "Old sir, we just entered the city. We wanted to ask how long you've lived here, and if you've ever left the city." The old man kindly replied, "I've been here since birth." As for outside the city, Huajian City has always been peaceful. We never leave. The old man's answer made her suspicious of the people here. This old man is a bit off. Looking closely, the people around them were also strange. She leaned close to Lu Qingji's ear and whispered her doubts. Senior brother, have you noticed? The people here only smile. They have no other expressions. He nodded in agreement and even praised her. Junior sister, you're very observant. Seeing him trying to avoid the topic, she encouraged him to investigate with her. It's nothing. Let's look around first. Maybe we can find other clues. As they walked, Pei-Yong noticed something strange on the ground. Why is there a red pouch on the ground? This caught his attention. It wasn't just under his feet. There were several more opposite him. There's another one here. Curious, he reached down to pick it up and see if it was one of Zhang Milan's treasures, but someone stopped him. Wait. Seeing his wary expression, Pei-Yong asked in confusion, Lu Qingji, what's wrong? Encyclopedia mode activated. Lu Qingji began to talk about folklore and taboos. It is said that you should never pick up a red pouch from the ground. It's a sign of a bereaved family. Some families whose daughters die young and unmarried will put some money and hair in a pouch and throw it on the road for someone to pick up. Whoever picks it up is basically agreeing to be buried with her. The deceased girl will take the soul of the person who picked up the pouch to be her ghost husband. The groom will descend to the underworld on the 7th day. One life exchanged for a ghost wife. Do you believe it? Although Xiao Chun considered himself a genius, he was clueless about these folk customs and had never heard of such a bizarre tale. Is that real? I've never heard of that before. Pei-Yong also chimed in, appearing even more ignorant. It's just a money pouch. Senior brother Qingji, you're overthinking it. It's probably just something someone in the city dropped. It's not as spooky as you're making it out to be. He looked disdainfully at these naive fellows who had seen nothing of the world. Want to know how scary it is? Take a look. He sliced the red pouch open with his sword. Now you see it. Inside the ripped pouch were a pile of gold ingots and a lock of hair from a young woman who had recently died. Pei-Yong was scared out of his wits after seeing it and immediately backed away, not daring to touch it again. It's real. It's real. It's fake. Jiang Shurha, Luo Chio in disguise, stood with her arms crossed, sternly questioning him. Did your master teach you these things? Of course, master knows everything. He thought her face had turned green with fright. Apparently, she had never taught him these things. Nonsense. When did I ever teach you that? Suddenly, Yuan Moli pretended to be scared and rushed over. Actually, just wanted to hear his opinion. Senior brother Qingji, I think it's getting late, and we've encountered unlucky things. Why don't we find an inn to stay for the night and investigate tomorrow? He was too afraid of her restless hands and had to reluctantly pull himself away. He turned to ask the young woman beside him for her opinion. Junior sister, what do you think? She was probably tired after a long day, so she agreed with Yuan Moli's suggestion. All right. Hearing this reply, his face immediately lit up like a child who had received candy. Then let's go. Their affectionate manner made everyone around them incredibly jealous. She gritted her teeth in anger. The person she admired hadn't even glanced at her. Senior sister Zhang. Hey, it's you again. How dare you try to seduce senior brother Qingji? The scene changed, and everyone arrived at an outrageously luxurious inn, where everything was very comfortable. This inn is not bad. I want this room. This is the biggest one. As soon as everyone entered, the tranquility of the inn was broken. Everyone scrambled for the best rooms, and there was even a hint of ambiguity in the air. Let's stay together, you and me. Xiaoqun walked over and handed the key to Jiang Shurha and Yuan Moli. Junior sister Yuan, junior sister Jiang, you're both girls. You can stay together. She was happy that she didn't have to draw lots for a room and happily took the key. Before the key reached her hand, it was snatched away. He put his arm around her waist and raised the key high. No need. Let junior sister Jiang stay with me. This had gone beyond basic etiquette. Xiaoqun and Yuan Moli, seeing a man and a woman wanting to share a room, immediately stepped forward to stop them. Senior brother Lu, isn't this a little inappropriate? Men and women shouldn't share a room. Jiang Shurha, Luo Chio, was stunned, being pointed at and gossiped about by everyone. In this extremely awkward atmosphere, Lu Qingji jumped out with a righteous look. You're overthinking it. Junior sister Jiang is a medical cultivator. Her medical skills are excellent, but her cultivation is average. I'm sharing a room with her to protect her. Whether this reason was an excuse or not was unclear. After his impassioned speech, he turned to ask her, Junior sister, what do you think? She didn't want to delay any longer, so she went along with it. All right, thank you for your concern, senior brother. She agreed on the surface, but in her heart, she was already planning. I practically raised this kid. I'll give him some face. If he dares to try anything funny, I'll kick him flying and let him know what real danger is. Xiaoqin didn't insist further. Then that's settled. Junior sister Jiang agreed. You two share a room. We share a room. The young woman at the back was very dissatisfied with this arrangement. However, she and he were happy to share a room. Let's go back to our rooms and rest. The main characters had different personalities. The female lead was lively, and the male lead was overjoyed to be able to share a room with her. Junior sister Yuan, let's go to our room and unpack. The other young woman was unhappy because she couldn't be with the person she admired. After the pleasantries, everyone returned to their rooms. Jiang Shurha, Luo Qiu finally breathed a sigh of relief, as if she had escaped a disaster. Today was really tough, although I'm very tired. He suddenly hugged her from behind, catching her off guard. She was so angry that her face changed, and she raised her hand to hit him. What are you doing? She had known this kid was restless for a long time, before her hand could touch his face. He grabbed her hand. Lu Qingji, quick with words, pinned her against the wall. She was startled by his boldness and shouted, Lu Qingji, are you crazy? He didn't wait for her to say anything more and kissed her passionately and abruptly. This scene felt familiar. The identities of master and disciple were all messed up. It was impossible to tell who was who. This transgression was unbearable for her, and she immediately pushed him away, not letting him get any closer. A crisp slap landed lightly on his face. Immediately, the title of Huajian Kingdom's #1 playboy was stuck on him. At this moment, he stole her first kiss and smiled smugly. Junior sister is right to scold me. I'm sorry. You really resemble someone I knew before. I was confused for a moment and did something wrong. I hope you won't be angry. She didn't curse him aloud, but in her heart, she had already cursed his ancestors for 18 generations. If I wasn't afraid of killing him with one palm, I would definitely teach him a lesson. It was late. Not wanting to make a fuss, she let him sleep on the floor tonight, claiming the bed for herself. You're sleeping on the floor tonight. If you try anything funny, I won't be so polite. He obediently agreed, like a little puppy. Okay. Having not bathed all day, she couldn't sleep. She hurried to the bathroom by the outhouse. I'm going to bathe. You're not allowed to follow me, and you're not allowed to peek. He wouldn't dare, not even for all the money in the world. Junior sister Zhang, relax. In truth, he'd already realized this was his master. How cute his master was. Good heavens. Just as she mentioned going to bathe, the scene cut back to him soaking in a hot spring, in high definition without any mosaic blurring. Lying in bed, she recalled his impulsive actions from earlier. Although Lu Qingji had been obedient today, sleeping soundly on the floor, his words and actions toward junior sister Zhang during the day had been audacious and unrestrained, like a peacock displaying its feathers, completely different from the well-behaved child he used to be. But what bothered her most was the old acquaintance he had mentioned. Who was this old acquaintance he spoke of? She subconsciously fumbled under her pillow and, poof, pulled out a family heirloom manual. She curiously picked up the somewhat aged book. What's this? A storybook. Probably just some old tales from the previous generation. The story began with a thief who, driven to thievery by poverty, was saved by the flower princess of Huajian Kingdom and given the name Chuji. He then turned over a new leaf, joined the army, and achieved great military exploits, eventually being bestowed the title of Protector General. Each illustration was vivid, as if about to jump off the page. Reading this book was like listening to a fairy tale. It started with the story of the flower princess and the general, but she wasn't sure if the Huajian Kingdom in the book was the same Huajian Kingdom she was currently in. Sigh. Having a story to pass the time wasn't bad. Why not read it? Maybe there would be some plot twists. Bored anyway, she might as well see if she could find any clues in the book. After reading for a while, she drifted off to sleep. Lu Qingji, freshly bathed, was startled by the silence in the room. Senior sister. He lifted the curtain and asked softly, are you asleep? She hadn't even applied mosquito repellent. How could she sleep if she got bitten by mosquitoes all night? Master truly had no sense of self-preservation. He gently tucked her in. The night was still young. There was no rush. Who knew what secrets might be revealed tonight? He climbed into bed with her, feigning innocence, and even reached out to pull his master into his arms. Master, your disciple will sleep with you. Moonlight peeked through the cracks in the door, watching the sleeping master and disciple, and even added the sound effect of a baby crying at midnight for extra spookiness. Even in her sleep, her ears were sharp. Suddenly a wah, wah, crying sound woke her up. What's that sound? She opened her eyes to see a six-pack physique and a captivating face staring back at her. This kid really knew how to give someone a fright in the middle of the night. He was just about to speak when she clapped a hand over his mouth. Propping herself up on the bed, she leaned forward and asked, "Did you hear something?" Her forwardness made the young man's heart skip a beat. Lu Qingji's hand landed restlessly on her waist. Slap! She was still maintaining her junior sister Zhang facade, completely unaware of her current compromising position, and this guy dared to tease her. Honestly, she clearly heard a slap. The atmosphere was obviously strange, yet his words twisted the meaning. She strained her ears, listening carefully to the strange midnight noises, wondering who was laughing outside so late. Lu Qingji audaciously pressed his ear against her chest, wanting to hear her heartbeat. What he heard instead was junior sister Zhang's heartbeat. Heavens! It was so sudden she had no time to react. He knew he was being shameless, but he still nuzzled his unwashed head against her chest. The air between them was as thick and awkward as peanut butter. She practically wanted to kick him off the bed. "I didn't teach you to be such a smooth talker." A CEO-like smirk appeared on his face. 3 parts affectionate, 7 parts, "I'm watching you." Just as she was about to slip out to investigate, she said, "Wait here. I'm gonna look out the window." Her slender fingers gently pushed the window open. The window opened with a whoosh, revealing a sight that would scar her for life. A group of people in red robes were playing swanas and flutes, as if celebrating some kind of street festival. Is this a midnight wedding? The most eye-catching sight was the bride in the sedan chair, her face covered by a red veil, carried by 8 people, with wedding flowers scattering in the wind. She immediately sensed something was amiss and quickly closed the window, pulling him over. "Lu Qingji, something's not right outside. Let's go take a look." That smirk returned to his face. Sure enough, he couldn't help but chuckle at her focus on the unfolding events. No matter what junior sister Zhang said, he knew full well that the person in front of him was actually his respected master. Just that in her haste, she'd forgotten to use the correct form of address. Her junior sister disguise was full of holes. The night was clear, a gentle breeze blowing, but these people clearly had no intention of sleeping peacefully. Peiyang waved at them. "Junior sister Zhang, senior brother Lu, you're here too." She was surprised to see him still out and about. "What are you doing here?" He stammered an explanation. "We found these people a bit strange, so we wanted to come and see what was going on." Just then, someone suddenly screamed. Yuan Moli was scratched by a mysterious hand, blood flowing freely. "It hurts. Let me go." She cried out for help. Luckily, Xiao Chan was nearby and heard her. He immediately drew his weapon, ready to play the hero. Junior sister Yuan. He swung his sword at the attacker and then pulled Yuan Moli to his side. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine, just a little blood." The attacker immediately retreated into the ranks behind them. The next moment, a zombie with a human face lunged towards them. Seeing the dangerous situation unfolding behind them, she panicked, shouting a warning. "Not good. The commotion has attracted them. They're surrounding us." With her keen observation skills, she spotted a doorway on the other side of the crowd. The door led to the house opposite. "We have to find a way to squeeze through. Quickly follow me and hide in that wooden house." "Qingji, Xiao Chun, swing your swords together and scare these people back, like you're exorcising evil spirits. Once we're inside, immediately shut the door tight, otherwise we're all doomed." Peiyang asked blankly what's going on. Why are these commoners suddenly attacking us? He glanced around, roughly guessing the reason. They have no pulse, they're not alive anymore. Someone must be controlling all of this from behind the scenes. He continued his analysis. "I suspect that no one survived the Huajian kingdom disaster 300 years ago. Everything we saw during the day was probably just an illusion." These words startled both Lu Qingji and Peiyang. "What?" Lu Qingji froze, then realized that Yuan Moli was missing. "Oh no, junior sister Yuan is gone." Hearing this, she quickly asked, "Gone? Wasn't she with you?" "It was so chaotic just now. Who could remember who? I thought she was right behind me. I'm sorry. It's all my fault." To make up for his mistake, he decided to go out and save her no matter what. "It's too dangerous out there. I have to go save her. But it's really dangerous. Don't go." Lu Qingji pointed outside and warned, "She's out there. In her current state, she's probably already been assimilated." Yuan Moli walked blankly with the crowd, continuously chanting a strange nursery rhyme. "The princess is devastatingly beautiful. The princess has a heart of a bodhisattva. The princess and the general are a match made in heaven." The light in her eyes was long gone. As soon as she, disguised as junior sister Zhang, heard the words princess and general, she immediately recalled the fairy tale she had just read last night. Isn't this the book I read last night? As soon as Pei Yang and Xiao Chen heard about the book, they asked in unison, "You read that book too?" The two immediately found common ground. "Wait, you read it too?" She quickly became suspicious of this coincidence. Reading that book wasn't accidental. Someone deliberately wanted us to read it. And the story of the Huajian Kingdom Princess and the General, maybe it's not just a story. It makes my hair stand on end. This might be the truth of what we're experiencing. As she spoke, Lu Qingji suddenly ruffled her hair. "Junior sister, don't be afraid." This comfort made her blush slightly. "Senior brother, let's go take a look together. Let's wait until there are fewer people outside before we move." Before leaving, he carefully reminded everyone. "Also, don't get caught by those commoners. I suspect that's how Yuan Moli was assimilated." Seeing her disciple command so calmly, Luo Qiu felt a sense of relief. She hadn't expected Lu Qingji to remain so calm in such a dangerous situation, dealing with it step by step, while she herself was clueless. He had truly grown up. As if sensing her thoughts, he smiled. He opened his arms and put them around her shoulders. "Junior sister, what's wrong? Are you scared?" She immediately denied such a ridiculous notion. Nothing. Inwardly, however, she marveled at his improved flirting skills. No wonder girls would line up for 3 blocks. This Huajian kingdom is truly bizarre. A wedding procession carries a bridal sedan chair, chanting a strange nursery rhyme. The princess is devastatingly beautiful. The princess has a heart of a bodhisattva. The princess and the general are a match made in heaven. A match made in heaven. Lu Qingji, along with her and 2 others, followed the sedan chair to see what was happening and ended up following the commoners all the way to the palace gates. Everything seemed normal until Lu Qingji noticed someone appear. A handsome young man appeared, his manner of arrival clearly not human, but for some reason, his face was covered by a mask. The young man slowly approached the sedan chair. This must be the groom. Watching this bizarre wedding scene, he immediately guessed that this was probably the General Chu they spoke of. Xiao Chen found his Kunwu sword vibrating intensely and had to use his magic to suppress it. What was going on? It seemed the Kunwu sword was very excited. Pei Yang knew why the sword was reacting this way. The Kunwu sword could sense demonic energy, hence its reaction. Hearing the words demonic energy, she immediately became suspicious. Demonic energy. Senior brother meant exactly what she was thinking. Yes, he had been possessed. That groom, the so-called general, was not human at all. The groom embraced the bride in her red wedding dress, inadvertently revealing the faint outline of white bones beneath the beautiful red garment. Pei Yang stared at the exposed skull, terrified. A skeletal bride. This monster had peculiar taste. Anyone could eat a dead person. The general, finally with his bride, strode into the palace, heading towards its depths. The wedding procession followed closely behind, the strange nursery rhyme echoing among the line of human-faced zombies. Xiao Chen, worried about Yuan Moli weaving through the crowd, asked her how to resolve this. Junior sister Yuan also entered the palace with the commoners. "What should we do? Should we follow?" Luo Qiu didn't answer immediately. She suddenly remembered the ending of the fairy tale. She remembered the book said the princess died tragically, so the general, wanting to resurrect her, needed to sacrifice 10,000 people. If that were true, it was telling Yuan Moli that she was walking step by step towards death. No, Yuan Moli was in danger. Lu Qingji immediately sprang into action because the situation was too urgent. Junior sister Yuan is in danger, and you're still standing there like a pillar watching them panic. You even held her hand and walked together. So, come on, junior sister, let's go. Now wasn't the time to argue with him. She immediately agreed, as saving someone was paramount. Black fog enveloped the entire palace ceiling. Who knew if someone was burning herbs here in the middle of the night, as this mist or smoke was spreading? Strange, how could there be fog in the palace? Where did those commoners who just came and go? Xiao Chun and Pei Yang were also gone. This haunted house tour was truly frightening. After just a few steps, the fog rushed towards them. She felt dizzy, the atmosphere oppressive and suffocating. What was this gust of wind? Lu Qingji was instantly separated from her. He shouted, reaching out to grab her, "Junior sister, hold on." Their hands reached for each other, but they couldn't grasp hold. The black fog split into two streams, engulfing them, creating a heartbreaking scene of separation. She desperately called Lu Qingji's name, unwilling to be separated from him for even a second. She struggled in vain. Let me go. I need to find Lu Qingji. He's in danger. But no matter how hard she tried, it was useless. The black fog still pulled her away from him. Just then, the system popped up a notification. She had triggered a hidden plot, the pass to the Huajian Kingdom. As the princess of the Huajian Kingdom, she will be sent back 300 years to experience those past events firsthand, while being unable to interfere with the plot. Tears mingled with her hair. Wait, what? I have to leave this world and time travel again. Darkness enveloped her vision. When she could see clearly again, an old woman lifted the curtain and called, "Your Highness." The wet nurse urged her to get up for breakfast. "It's time to get up and eat, Your Highness." She sat up groggily and asked Chunyang, "What time is it?" After a few exchanges, she realized she had time traveled, and her speech was natural, as if not under her control. What was going on? Why was I speaking so naturally, my actions and words beyond my control? She suddenly remembered everything that had happened before. In the palace, Lu Qingji and I were separated by the wind, and then the system appeared, making me the princess. Since they've given me this stage, I should naturally play the role well. 5:15, Your Highness. Please get up quickly, or your breakfast will get cold. She immediately put on an act. Chunyang, I want to leave the palace. In her heart, she was already thinking about how to return to the original world. Oh well, since I'm here, I might as well make the best of it. After I experience all of this, I should be able to go back. Xian Yuanyang's face turned pale when she heard the princess say this. Absolutely not, Your Highness. The enemy has invaded, and our country is in a state of panic. So everything was happening against the backdrop of war and invasion. No wonder the wet nurse was so alarmed. If His Majesty knew you left the palace, he would be furious. So she obediently listened to her wet nurse, saying, "All right, I won't leave the palace." As if it were that easy. She had read 7,749 historical romance novels and already knew that according to the plot, this princess would absolutely not be obedient and would definitely find a way to sneak out of the palace. Sure enough, not long after, the princess appeared in the bustling market outside the palace walls. Of course, after wandering around the streets for a few times, she ran into a familiar face. Seeing a handsome man, of course, she had to run over and ask if he wanted to add her on WeChat. The man turned around, a smile on his face, and greeted her gently, "Your Highness." The princess was overjoyed and happily landed beside him. "And yeah, I came out of the palace specifically to find you." Suddenly, Luo Chio's personality gave her a prompt. "Oh my god, he's General Chu. But why does he look exactly like Lu Qingji? That devoted look, just like my disciple. Every time we meet again after parting, he looks at me with that same expression." General Chu finally took the princess's hand. While happy to see his beloved, her safety was more important. "Your Highness, how can you leave the palace without guards? It's so dangerous outside." Luo Chio's personality took over again. Looking at the face that was identical to her disciples, she couldn't help but act coquettishly like she had met a long-lost relative. "Senior brother Lu? You're senior brother Lu, right? You transmigrated to the Huajian Kingdom 300 years ago, just like me. That's great. I finally met someone I know, finally someone I can talk to freely." The general frowned slightly when he heard the title Senior Brother Lu. She looked up at him expectantly. "Yes, I'm Senior Brother Zhang. Your junior sister." The two stood hand in hand in the crowd, one with a puzzled face, the other nervously waiting for a response. Will it work? Why am I messing around in this Huajian Kingdom plot? Wouldn't it be better to stay by his side? However, her hopes were quickly dashed. He looked at her endless childishness with a smile. "Senior brother, junior sister, has Your Highness been reading some strange books lately? Do you want to play role-playing with me?" Hearing these innocent words, her disappointment turned into complete despair. Did I guess wrong? He didn't transmigrate at all. He mistook her dejected look for sadness and reached out to pat her head comfortingly. "Your Highness, you've been very good. Don't be sad. If you like, I can play with you." His gentleness and consideration made her even more suspicious of whether he was Lu Qingji. He was clearly sucked in with Lu Qingji, but the person in front of her seemed like he had grown up with her since childhood. Could it really be him? Forget it. Never mind the awkwardness. Let's just start acting. "Yesterday, Father said I've reached the age for marriage." Although her expression was a bit exaggerated and affected, since she had already started acting, she could only continue. "Forget it. Let's just follow the plot." She thought he would freak out in the middle of the bustling market, but unexpectedly, he just calmly said, "Okay." She waited to see his expression and reaction deliberately turning her face to the side, puffing out her cheeks and pouting, pretending to be angry. Father also said that the men from the Ma family are all talented and handsome, elegant and refined, the most outstanding men in the capital. He thought she was being a bit dramatic. Really? Are you talking about handsome men? She suddenly grabbed his arm and acted coquettishly. Aren't you going to marry me? At this point, she needed a definite answer. Your Highness, actually, I'm going to war in a few days. Hearing this news was like a bolt from the blue. Going to war? Why are you only telling me such an important thing now? Luo Qiu felt a pang of sadness in her heart. Seeing this loving couple about to be separated, why did she feel so sad? Could it be that the original host's emotions were too strong, and she was also affected? The princess refused to be separated from her beloved and angrily went to argue with her father. It must be you who forced him to join the army. I'm going to find father and make him withdraw the order. Seeing her impulsive behavior, he quickly stopped her. Your Highness, wait. He hugged her from behind, using all his sweet words to coax her to calm down. Listen to me. No one can force me to do anything. I volunteered. After being coaxed by the handsome man for a while, her anger subsided a little, but it was still hard to calm down. Volunteered. Their wedding must be the grandest and most beautiful, and he would bring her home with a dowry procession stretching for 10 miles. He knew the difference in their social standing was too vast. She was a princess of a nation, a precious treasure, while he was merely a thief, despised by many. He wanted to join the army and earn merits to be worthy of standing by her side. It was precisely because of this disparity that he couldn't marry her immediately. He had to atone for his past. Tears streamed down her face. She didn't care about his status at all. That's not true. You rob the rich to help the poor. You're a good thief, not a bad person. Remember that time I snuck out to play and was harassed by those thugs? You saved me. Even if she explained it 100 times, in the eyes of others, a thief was still a thief. If the princess married a thief, she would undoubtedly be condemned. I don't want you to be judged because of me. He reached out and wiped away her tears. He wanted to return with accomplishments. He didn't need high-ranking positions, nor did he need gold and silver treasures. As long as she was by his side, that was enough. When I return with merit, I won't want any titles, any treasures. I only want you. They shared a deep kiss as a vow. Promise me, when I return, you'll marry me, okay? Deep love needed no further words. Okay, I promise you. It's settled then. He would succeed. A warm embrace before parting. Beyond the romantic scene, deep down, she was still pondering the plot. I remember my disciple's personality. That guy always flirted with girls. It shouldn't be Lu Qingji. But this person's words and actions are clearly Qingji's. He, without a doubt, what do you want me to do with him? The system task is in 3 days. General Chu donned his armor, his posture tall and resolute. He didn't dare look back, afraid he would shed tears. The princess watched her beloved rush to the battlefield with a heart full of reluctance, her heart twisting in pain. AG, I'll wait for your triumphant return. He left, but he looked back at her one last time. Princess, I will definitely return to see you. Going to the battlefield was a test of life and death. The Huajian kingdom and the enemy nation were engaged in fierce battle with countless casualties. General Chu, striving for a glimmer of hope, overcame difficult obstacles time and time again. The news that reached her ears wasn't optimistic, but she still firmly believed that he would return and marry her honorably. But no one expected that in the 3rd year of the war, a plague would break out in the Huajian kingdom. Corpses littered the fields, the casualties like waves of wheat. The commoners suffered immensely, both physically and mentally exhausted. Amidst the plague, children went mad, running wildly through the streets, chanting a strange nursery rhyme, Princess Meat Pie. Folklore said that the princess's flesh and blood could cure all illnesses by altering its temperature. People could come up with anything in times of despair. The king, worried about the suffering of his people, summoned the national teacher for advice. National teacher, what should we do now? If this drags on without control, the Huajian kingdom will be in grave danger. He bowed and offered his suggestion. Your Majesty, at this point, there's only one way to save the nation. Hearing that there was a way to save his people, the king eagerly wanted to know what it was. Expecting some brilliant strategy, who would have thought the national teacher would cite a baseless folk rumor? Kill the Huajian princess. The prime minister's proposed solution made even the king's blood run cold. The princess was a descendant of the holy maiden bloodline. Ancient Ancient texts recorded that drinking her blood and eating her flesh could cure all illnesses. He urged the king, "Your Majesty, the nation is on the verge of collapse. We must sacrifice the princess to save the people from this disaster." The atmosphere was extremely tense. The king loved his daughter and firmly refused. "It's absolutely impossible to use my daughter for such a thing. This is preposterous. My precious daughter is not a sacrificial offering. Don't mention it again." He stood up for his daughter. He hadn't intended to heed the national teacher's advice. Unexpectedly, the national teacher, concealing a hidden weapon, suddenly struck out, stabbing directly at the king. "At this point, I can no longer listen to you." The king was shocked, retreating repeatedly, shouting for his guards. "What are you doing? Guards, protect me." But the guards feigned deafness, the blade piercing straight into his heart, blood gushing forth. The king died with hatred in his heart, still desperately calling out his daughter's name in his final moments. "Yuko, oh my precious daughter." With the emperor's death, the mandate of heaven crumbled. The scene was incredibly tragic. After assassinating the king, the prime minister began plotting his next move. His disguise was removed, revealing a cunning and sinister fox-like face. How loathsome this villain was. As if sensing something ominous, the princess's eyelid twitched violently. She abruptly woke up, gasping for breath, as if she had just experienced a nightmare. Luo Chio's character finally remembered the subsequent plot. "I remember now. I finally remember. The emperor was killed by the prime minister. This is all his plot." She gripped the sheets, determined to save herself. "No, I must find a way to save the princess. But that would break the rules. She can no longer control her body at will." What's happening? I can't move. Is it because I want to save the princess, interfering with the plot? So I'm being punished. Just then, the fake king, the prime minister in disguise, walked in, putting on a worried expression. "Shanglia, my poor Shanglia." He announced a piece of news that was difficult to discern as true or false. News from the front lines. General Chu Ji died in battle. His body never recovered. Hearing of her beloved's death, her heart completely shattered. "AG is dead. Impossible. He promised to come back and marry me." He pretended to embrace and comfort her. "Shangya, I know you loved him, but the dead cannot be resurrected. Please accept my condolences." Her tears flowed endlessly. Their happy wedding was ultimately just a dream. This is so heartbreaking. Seeing her despair, he began to lament his own hardships. The Huajian kingdom has suffered one disaster after another. We have enemies invading from outside and a plague raging within. I am truly a failed emperor. Hearing this lament, Luo Chio gritted her teeth in anger. This is infuriating. If I weren't bound by the plot, I would have exposed this imposter long ago. The princess actually believed him. "Father, AG is dead. I don't want to live anymore. Everyone says my flesh and blood can cure all illnesses. I'm willing to sacrifice myself to save the people of Huajian Kingdom." The time had come. He still had to put on the act of a loving father. "Shangya, have you really thought this through?" She had nothing left to live for. "My mind is made up, father. I implore you to grant my wish." He even pretended to be moved to tears. Good daughter. I thank you on behalf of the people of Huajian Kingdom." Her tears flowed continuously. "Tonight is my last night in this world." He had been waiting for this moment and ordered the guards beside him issue a decree. "Inform the people that tomorrow at noon, the princess will sacrifice her flesh and blood for the nation to save the Huajian Kingdom. As you command, your majesty." The next day, the princess dressed meticulously and applied her makeup, gazing into the distance. Even the heavy makeup couldn't hide the sadness on her face. She looked at the crowd, and the people chanted songs about her. "Fairy blood, princess flesh, cures all ills, grants eternal life. Whoever eats her flesh and drinks her blood, Huajian will live forever." The crowd chanted in unison, bidding farewell to their noble princess. A moment later, she also spoke her last words to the people. "I am Princess Wenqing. For 16 peaceful years in the Huajian Kingdom, I have been nurtured by the people and lived in tranquility. Now, at this moment of life and death for Huajian, how can I be selfish and indifferent?" She resolutely raised a dagger to her abdomen and made a vow. "Today, when Shang is willing to sacrifice her flesh and blood for the nation, to repay the people for their kindness. My word is my bond. I will not go back on it." The people below stared at the princess's flesh and blood, their mouths watering. Wonderful. We're saved. Amidst the cheers of the crowd, the dagger pierced her abdomen. She turned and collapsed, a peaceful smile on her face, knowing she was about to reunite with her beloved in the afterlife. "AG, I'm coming." Luo Qiu, seeing that the matter was settled, thought, when Shang is dead, does that mean I can finally go back? Just as the princess's body was about to fall into the hands of those eager to tear her apart, Luo Qiu remembered her disciple far away, Qingji. I will wait for you there." The crowd caught the princess's body and immediately began to fight over it. "I want a piece. Give me some. I don't want to die. Don't grab. There's enough for everyone." A young man tore off a piece of her flesh and devoured it ravenously. "I got some. I'll be cured soon." Just then, General Chu Ji returned on horseback. Seeing the gathered crowd, he asked in confusion, "What are you doing?" The man, seeing the general's return, exclaimed in surprise, "General Chu, you're back." He enthusiastically told the general everything that had happened in the city. "General Chu, you've been at war for 3 years. You may not know, but a plague has broken out in Huajian Kingdom." He offered the piece of princess flesh he had just torn off to the general. "This is the princess's flesh. Eating it can cure the plague. General, you should have some too." Upon hearing this, General Chu Ji's face instantly darkened. "Whose flesh did you say this is?" He gritted his teeth, making sure he hadn't misheard. The man, oblivious, spoke frankly, "It's the princess's. The princess is a descendant of the Holy Maiden. Her flesh and blood can cure all illnesses. For the sake of the people, the princess willingly." Before he could finish, General Chu Ji snapped the man's neck, willingly offered her flesh and blood. The surrounding people, seeing him kill the man, were instantly thrown into panic. He was killing. He couldn't accept that his beloved had died in such a painful and humiliating way. Screams erupted from the crowd. "Help! He's killing people." He left the princess's body lying there, his heart twisting as he looked at her remains, flesh torn from bone, nothing but a skeleton left. He whispered in anguish, "Your Highness, I spent 3 years on the battlefield, only to return and find nothing but your bones." His sword clattered to the ground. He rushed forward, gathering her body in his arms, calling her name over and over. "Your Highness." His cries tore through the air, making everyone think he had gone mad. Like a man possessed, he held the cold body of his beloved tight. I brushed with death countless times on the battlefield. His cold figure cradled her corpse. The world had become a gray nightmare. He had dreamed of marrying her, but now all of it was shattered. He roared his orders, "Kill them all. Every last one." His eyes were wild like a beast's. This was his revenge for her. He was beyond reason. They had killed her. His soldiers, hearing their general's command, surged forward, their swords flashing, aimed at the innocent commoners. He was mad, completely out of control. Blood flowed. His heart was ashes. Anyone who had harmed her would pay the same price. In the end, the people I had protected became the executioners who slaughtered her. The massacre was a cruel feast, a cannibalistic carnival. No one could escape General Chu's blade, not even those who knelt and begged for mercy. "Spare me. Help. Please don't kill me." Luo Qiu's soul drifted in the air, horrified by the bloody carnage. So this is how the Huajian kingdom falls. Watching in Jie's crazed slaughter, she was certain he had lost his mind, consumed by demonic energy. She immediately thought of her young disciple, the equally determined Qingji. If Qingji were also consumed by demonic energy, would he become this crazed? She stood there, witnessing the massacre, when she suddenly heard a voice calling her name from the void, "Junior Sister Zhang." Hearing the unfamiliar voice, she looked around, trying to find its source. It sounded like Chung, she calling her. Someone kept calling her name, causing a splitting headache, as if her head were being hammered. "Junior sister, wake up, wake up." She felt like she was falling into a bottomless abyss, adrift in pain. Her head throbbed. Elsewhere, Changshi held his master's trembling body, his face etched with worry as he saw her unusual state. "Master, master." The scene was already chaotic, but a dark, psychological shadow added fuel to the fire. "Stop calling. She's trapped in a nightmare. She sees you consumed by demonic energy, slaughtering everyone. She's probably too terrified to wake up." He glared, snapping, "Nonsense. Get out." But a flicker of worry remained. What if the shadow was telling the truth? Would he be consumed by demonic energy? Impossible. As long as his master was by his side, he would never lose control. His master's face suddenly flushed crimson, as if she had a high fever. Seeing her stir, he quickly called her name, his expression filled with anxiety. If only his master would wake up. But that filthy, dark shadow was still lurking nearby, an irritating presence. No, if his master woke up and saw him entangled with a demonic being, with her aversion to evil, she would definitely sever their relationship. He drew his sword, determined to destroy the shadow completely. The blade flashed down mercilessly, accompanied by a heartfelt curse. "Get out!" The shadow dissipated, but not before leaving a parting threat. "Lu Qingji, we will meet again." Just then, she woke up. Her first words were to call out Lu Qingji's name. He turned immediately, his face filled with concern. "Junior sister, you're awake." He explained, "We were attacked by a dream devourer as soon as we entered the palace. I just killed it. How are you feeling?" She pretended to rub her forehead, inwardly relieved to finally be back. She was so tired. Since her disciple had taken the trouble to protect her, politeness dictated she offer her thanks. "Senior brother, I'm Fine." Noticing the slight flush on his face, she asked curiously, "But senior brother, why does your complexion look so poor?" His pretense exposed, he panicked. "Oh no, did master notice something?" She instinctively reached out to brush his hair aside. "Let me see." He hadn't expected her to lean in so close, almost touching his forehead, making the young man's heart skip a beat. Your temperature is normal, no fever." This time, his master was exceptionally thorough, and he could only stand there, letting her examine him. "I thought your complexion looked a bit off just now. Are you feeling unwell anywhere? Let me transfer some spiritual energy to you." She spoke as she wondered if she might accidentally scramble his brains. He looked at her with starry eyes. "So junior sister was worried about me just now. Wasn't that obvious?" Of course, she was worried about him. As his master, how could she not care about her disciple? "You're the disciple I raised. Who else would I worry about?" Just as the atmosphere was turning romantic, he suddenly steered the conversation toward the controversial topic. "Junior sister, do you think all demons are inherently evil? Why are you suddenly asking this?" She couldn't understand what he was thinking. He got straight to the point. "I just suddenly thought of that dream devourer from before. It trapped us in nightmares and took the opportunity to absorb our spiritual energy. But other than that, it didn't seem to do anything unforgivable." He asked a roundabout question, but she patiently listened to the end. "So that's it. A student asks, you must answer. Qingji suddenly asked me this, so I have to give him a reasonable answer. It's also considered establishing his worldview. If he really goes astray in the future, maybe he'll spare me for old time's sake." She sighed and slowly explained to him using all her life philosophy. "I think there is no absolute good or evil in this world, and no eternal black and white. Humans absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to cultivate, and their temperament is mostly gentle and kind, while demons absorb resentment to improve their cultivation. So most of them are bloodthirsty and violent." She looked at the young man with a relaxed expression. "But there are good and bad people, and the same goes for demons. So the important thing is not to distinguish between gods and demons, but to see if there is any kindness in their hearts." Listening to her reason was like listening to the sweetest love song. "Junior sister, I'm about to float away." He gently lifted her chin. A deep and passionate kiss landed on her lips. This Chung, she was really too bold, kissing her until she was stunned. Luo Qiu, trapped in Changxi's body, panicked immediately, pushing Changxi away while shouting, "Lu Qingji, let go of me." But he had already gotten used to it, just sitting obediently, looking at her with apologetic eyes like a puppy. "I'm sorry, junior sister, I offended you. Hit me, scold me, whatever you want. I won't fight back." That innocent face made her too angry to even bother hitting him. She just crossed her arms and glared. "Chungji, you're so stubborn. Every time you apologize, it sounds so sincere, but next time you'll do it again anyway." Since his attitude wouldn't change, she had no choice but to let it go for the sake of peace. "Forget it. Let's wake up quickly and go find Xiao Chun and the others." Knowing he had gotten his way, he happily followed behind. "Okay." The two rushed into another room. It was pitch black inside, as if the owner was too poor to afford a lamp, with dark corners everywhere. "I thought the palace should be luxurious, but I didn't expect there to be such a secret passage underneath." A strange black mist filled the palace. Chungji's sharp eyes noticed something. "Junior sister, I think there's a secret chamber here." Thinking it was Zhang Milan's treasure trove, they pushed together. "Senior brother, I'll help you." After pushing for a long time, the secret chamber finally creaked open. Inside, General Wei, wearing a mask, was performing some kind of ritual on Yuan Moli's body. She recognized him immediately. "You're General Wei." Seeing the uninvited guests, he gave a sinister smile. Without a greeting or even a single wasted word, he directly raised his sword and swung at her. "You're finally here." Just in time, another sword blocked the attack. "Njia, you're Njia, right?" He recognized the man he had seen in his dream at a glance. The swordsmanship was exquisite, and Njia had the upper hand, but she stopped him from delivering a fatal blow in time. "Senior brother, don't hurt him." She knelt down gently and questioned Njia. "You've been using living people as sacrifices for years to revive the princess, using their souls as offerings. But do you know that the myriad souls revival formation only works if the deceased died with hatred?" The princess had no resentment. She sacrificed herself willingly. Such a noble act, even if her bones turned to ashes, will not hold resentment. He refused to believe it. "You're lying. How could Her Highness be willing?" The emperor, the prime minister, the commoners, they all forced her. "That's just the surface. You didn't see the whole truth. You're wrong. They're innocent. The real culprit is the national general. He killed the emperor to usurp the throne, tricked the princess into sacrificing herself, and manipulated the commoners into resenting her. You've been lost for hundreds of years, and in your quest for revenge, you've gone against the wishes of the one you love. And yeah, you've taken revenge on the wrong people. The people you killed are the very people the princess fought so hard to protect." Hearing the truth, the general trembled all over. "No, that's not how it is. All of this was the National General scheme. If I'm not mistaken, the Myriad Souls Revival Formation was also his idea, right? He planned everything out, deceiving you completely. Now he's probably hiding somewhere, watching us." He gently placed his hand on the princess's skeletal remains. Now that she was gone, all he could do was accompany her bones. "She lied to me. I'm telling the truth. I wouldn't lie about something like this. Leaving the princess's remains here will prevent her reincarnation, leaving her restless forever. She would never want to see you like this." He ignored her, continuing to hold the remains. "The princess will wake up. She will." Seeing his infatuation, she had no choice but to use her family's secret technique, soul summoning. "I'll only help you this once." Lu Qingji saw her bite her finger and immediately tried to stop her. "Junior sister, what are you doing?" Drop by drop, she dripped her blood onto the bones. As if by magic, the blood glowed brilliantly upon contact. The soul of the Huajian Kingdom's princess appeared, radiant and beautiful, like Chang'e descending from the moon. Seeing this marvel, Lu Qingji immediately understood what she was doing. The soul summoning technique can gather lost and wandering souls, allowing them to reappear before the living. The price is that the caster consumes a large amount of spiritual energy and vitality, causing great damage to their body. The old soul returns. How nostalgic. The princess slowly opened her eyes, and the first word she uttered was the name of her beloved, Ji. Hearing that familiar voice, General Wei froze, gazing at her once more. "Your Highness." Tears of reunion flowed. She wept, unable to believe she could see him again. "AG, I'm so happy to see you again." But General Wei covered his face with his mask, feeling that time had passed, and he was no longer beautiful in her eyes. "Your Highness, don't look at me. I'm ugly now, not beautiful anymore." But in her heart, he would always be the most handsome, the most beloved man. The passage of time could not obscure the beauty she held within. "AG, what's ugly? You're still as handsome as ever." She reached out and removed his mask. Just wanted to see him one more time. Even though his face was cracked and weathered, she still wanted to see him, to look at him. This moved him to tears. "Your Highness." She gently caressed his tear-stained face, comforting him. "Heji, I know the fall of the Huajian Kingdom wasn't your intention. I don't blame you. If there's a next life, I hope we can be an ordinary couple, living an ordinary life." Time was short. She opened her arms, wanting his warm embrace. "AG, I'm going to disappear. Can you hold me?" He embraced her without hesitation. "Don't go, Your Highness. Don't leave me. Farewell, my husband." These were her last words to him. Tears fell as he held her tightly, even as her soul began to dissipate. No, she was gone, and he went with her. Their souls transformed into two golden orbs of light, lying quietly side by side. He, feigning surprise at their disappearance, she wondered, why did General Chu disappear too? Lu Qingji, standing beside her, explained, he learned the truth and had no more attachments to this world. So he destroyed his Yuan Shun and went with the princess. She sighed, lamenting this beautiful and tragic love story. What a pair of foolish lovers. As soon as she finished speaking, she fainted, collapsing with a thud. Her disciple, standing beside her, panicked. Oh no. I sealed my cultivation before entering the secret chamber. I'm a little weak now. Exhausted, she swayed. Fortunately, he caught her. He scolded her, but his tone was full of affection. Junior sister, you're truly kind-hearted, exhausting all your spiritual energy for two people who have nothing to do with you. After his gentle reprimand, he reminded her, you always think of others. Have you ever, even once, thought of yourself? Others would call this love, but Luo Qiu thought Lu Qingji was angry. Now Lu Qingji is angry. Their fingers intertwined, the atmosphere tinged with pink. Lu Qingji, Luo Qiu looked at him with a worried expression. Are you angry? Her bold move was irresistible. He released her hand, startling her so much her face paled. Lu Qingji bent down and picked up the two bright golden jade pieces from the floor, glancing at her reluctantly. Standing beside him, she couldn't help but fear his unpredictable mood. He must be angry, unsure of what she had done wrong, but seeing his resolute expression, she tried to appease him softly. Don't be angry. You still have me by your side. Nothing will happen. Before she could finish, he pulled her forcefully into his arms. The pull was so strong she didn't have time to react. He did it again, capturing her lips like those red flag men, solving all problems with a kiss. But the kiss went on for so long, she began to feel breathless. She pushed against his firm chest, preventing him from going further. This time it wasn't so easy. He deepened the kiss, their tongues tangling. His hands instinctively tightened around hers, preventing her from escaping. His eyes were filled with possessiveness and infatuation. Not only did he kiss her, but he also took the opportunity to transfer his spiritual energy to her. A long while later, their lips finally parted. He reminded her, senior sister, if you don't take better care of yourself, this is how I'll punish you, understand? This punishment had both a literal meaning and another implication. She had been kissed breathless and could only gasp. She carefully answered his question, understood. She kept consoling herself. This was just transferring spiritual energy. It's not. Forget it. Chengji is just concerned about me. Although his method isn't quite right, I shouldn't blame him. Just as they were immersed in their tender moment, Yuan Moli appeared like a goddess, descending from the heavens, catching the ambiguous little couple red-handed. What are you doing? Senior brother Lu and Miss Zhang are looking for you. Ignoring her question, she continued to focus on his flushed face. They were so close. Their faces were both red. In this situation, one must smile confidently. She quickly put on a pretense of enthusiasm and helped Yuan Moli up. It's nothing. If senior sister Yuan is awake, then let's go. I'll help you. Back at the inn, under the tranquil night sky, Baiyong was leisurely eating when he happened to encounter his three companions who had just returned after being out all night. Senior sister Zhong, have you seen your senior brother? Senior sister Yuan is here. She was surprised. After experiencing so much, Lu Qingji and Baiyong were eating and drinking as if nothing had happened. Junior brother, senior brother, why are you all here? Xiaocheng pulled over a chair and sat next to Moli, happily explaining to her the palace was strange. We fainted as soon as we went in and woke up back at the inn. Why did you come back so late? Did something happen? Looking at these people who were oblivious to the events, she felt a little helpless and could only retell everything, enlightening them. It's a long story. In short, everything here is related to General Chu Ji from the storybooks. He sacrificed the lives of 10,000 people to resurrect the princess, but it wasn't his idea initially. It was the Huajian Kingdom's national general. The female lead wasn't listening attentively, only secretly glancing at the seed of the person she had a crush on. Why are those two sitting so close? Baiyong fell into deep thought after hearing the words national general. That national general, not letting him dwell on it, she quickly reminded him to eat, less talk, the food tastes better. It's senior brother. Eat first, it won't be good when it's cold. On the surface, he seemed impatient, but in reality, she knew very well it was because he was jealous. He suddenly picked up a piece of fish and brought it to her mouth. Senior sister, try this. I've removed the bones. This boy was taking care of his wife from beginning to end, almost choking her. Fortunately, the food was quite delicious. Otherwise, his actions would have ruined her appetite. This is good. This high-quality dog food made someone's face turn purple with anger. That little slut, Miss Zhang, dares to steal my man. Seeing her eat so heartily, he went even further. If it's good, I'll I'll get you more. She glanced at her bowl. There was no rice at all, only meat. She felt a bit awkward. No need, eat it yourself. Miss Zhang invited her for tea, her tone clearly implying something else. I haven't had a chance to thank Miss Zhang for saving me in the palace. This cup of tea is a small token of my appreciation. Please don't mind. Seeing the female lead so enthusiastic, she had to agree. All right. Little did she know what kind of wicked ideas were brewing in that little head. I'll give you some face for now. She didn't know what she was planning, so she could only raise her cup, preparing to drink. Just as the female lead was about to finish drinking, someone suddenly stopped her. Wait. Chengji unceremoniously poured all the tea onto the ground, startling her. Senior brother, what's wrong? He sensed something was amiss, but didn't want to say it outright. Her cup wasn't clean. After pouring the tea, he even stepped on it, showing his disdain for the dirty tea. He handed her his own tea and turned to mock the scheming little slut with limited skills, but endless tricks. Junior sister, drink mine. It's just a cup of tea. I don't think you and junior sister would mind, right? The female lead's face turned green, extremely unsightly. No. But she was definitely very unhappy in her heart. What does Yang Shurha have that I don't? In terms of figure and appearance, she's no better than me. Why does Lu Qingji cherish her so much? That love should clearly belong to me. Why isn't it me he likes? Humiliated and indignant, she made an excuse and slipped back to her room. I'm full. I'll go upstairs and rest. Watching that cheap figure leave, Chengji felt like his eyes were burning. The moon hung high. It was late at night, and everyone should be asleep. It's getting late. Everyone's tired today. Rest early. Junior sister, see you tomorrow. Chengji sighed and returned to his room. He slowly closed the door, specifically guarding against thieves. Guard against external thieves, but also against internal thieves. His gaze swept across the room, as if there was something unusual inside. A rat has snuck into the room. This rat is quite bold, daring to intrude here. It must have ill intentions. He gently pulled back the curtain, and a scene of springtime beauty unfolded before his eyes. Yuan Moli, striking a seductive pose and casting a flirtatious glance, said in a suggestive tone, Chengji, you're back. Casting all shame aside, she pressed herself against him. Chengji, I've always admired you. I've liked you ever since I first saw you. You're the only one in my eyes. Her restless hands snaked around his waist. Chengji saw through her intentions with a single glance, understanding her desires. So that's what you're after. Without hesitation, he plunged a small knife into her shoulder, his face darkening as he growled, Are you enjoying these little games of yours, Miss Yuan? She recoiled in terror, cold sweat dripping down her back. He glanced down at her, his eyes filled with disdain for this shameless woman who had snuck into a man's room in the middle of the night. What's going on here? This isn't a brothel, is it? Seeing that things weren't going her way, Yuan Moli panicked. How could this be? I clearly lit aphrodisiac incense in the room. Any normal man would have been consumed by lust and thrown himself at me by now. But this kid's willpower is too strong. Why isn't Lu Chengji reacting at all? He gripped her chin and demanded, A witch's dirty tricks have never been respected by humans. His threat was terrifying, but he was only trying to force the truth out of this scheming woman. Tell me, if I expose your identity as a witch, what do you think everyone will think of you? Trembling, she reached out and clutched his sleeve, pleading, No, Chengji, please. He wasn't content with just mental torment. He pressed the knife against her chest and coldly interrogated her. I'm asking you, why was there a dead rat in Zhang Ximei's tea tonight? Who put it there? He would never let anyone who dared to harm someone he cared about off easily. Despite the stinging pain of the knife, she stubbornly denied it. It wasn't me. I don't know anything. Please, let me go. Do you think you could get away with it so easily? He sneered, causing trouble, and then tried to run. He had to teach her a lesson. Yuan Moli, if you use these tactics on someone else, I might not care. But you mess with the wrong person. He pushed the knife in further, forcing a scream from her. You dare to touch someone you shouldn't have. After tormenting her for a while, he finally withdrew the knife, leaving her gasping for breath like a dog. He sheathed the knife and raised an eyebrow in warning. This is just a warning. Next time, I'll take your life. With that, he brushed the dust off his clothes and turned to leave, leaving Yuan Moli gnashing her teeth, filled with resentment. Why is he treating me like this? It wasn't like this in the past life. This woman had been living in her memories for too long and had forgotten her current situation. She cursed him inwardly, along with his reputation. Lu Qingji, you madman, you demon, just you wait. She, Luo Qiu, disguised as her, was sleeping soundly when a dark shadow flitted past. She groggily opened her eyes, aware that someone had stealthily entered a young woman's room in the middle of the night, unsure of their intentions. TSK. Well. Her useless disciple had actually dared to stretch his legs onto her bed. Chengji acted as if nothing was wrong, climbing directly onto the bed. Junior sister, stop pretending to sleep. He hugged her tightly, as if trying to make up for the 10 minutes they had been apart. She couldn't stand his shamelessness and scolded him harshly. Are you a dog? This habit isn't good, master. As soon as the words left her mouth, she realized her mistake. Hearing the word master, Chengji immediately teased her, making her blush crimson. She quickly corrected herself. You heard wrong. Why did you come here? He held her, whining like a child. Junior sister, a woman touched me. I'm not clean anymore. This guy's ability to fabricate stories was worthy of the Best Liar Award of the year. She looked helplessly at this perpetually childish man, thinking, are you clean now that you're hugging me? Since she was already entangled with him, she resigned herself to her fate and asked, where did she touch you? He hugged her tighter, sobbing, well, my outer robe. She had asked out of kindness, but she encountered a clingy brat, making her want to kick him. She did kick him, gently reminding him as she drove the annoying pest out. There are blankets in the closet. You can either sleep on the floor or go back to your own room. Her kick wasn't light, and he yelped in pain. Ouch. He was thoroughly amused by her and said with a smile, all right, junior sister, good night. In the middle of the night, he heard someone call his name, Chengji. Nothing good ever happened in the dead of night. The words Chengji echoed in his mind. He had no choice but to open his eyes, ready to jump up and see which little rat dared to call him by his name so casually. TSK. He never expected that it would be his master, Luo Qiu, approaching him with an alluring air. Chengji, you're hurting me. With the sudden appearance of his goddess, he immediately sat up straight, his face full of concern as he called out, Master. What's wrong? I thought something big happened for Master to come find me in the middle of the night, but nothing did. She's actually become bolder, even wanting to sleep in the same bed as me. Chengji, Master wants to sleep with you tonight. I don't know if this is a dream or reality, but this young heart of mine skipped a beat. Is it okay? She just pounced on me like that, holding my disciple. Recalling the things she taught me, I tried my best to suppress my desires and gently pushed her away. Master, you're too close. If someone sees us, it won't be appropriate. Inappropriate. Then let's make it appropriate. I know. How would anyone else know? She started taking off her clothes one by one. Those alluring eyes made it impossible to look away. Besides, haven't you liked me for a long time? Now I'm in your arms. Why are you still so shy? Her usual cold demeanor had long since crumbled, replaced by an irresistible temptation. But this kid is stiff as a board. If Chengji doesn't want to, then forget it. Who says I don't want to? Master. I pounced on her, pressing her soft body beneath me without hesitation. Clearly, Master was the one who seduced her disciple first. Their lips met without reservation, a hazy kiss, like a beautiful spring night blessed by the gods. Master, those soft moans were enough to make one blush. I quickly tore off her bothersome clothes, wanting only to admire the body that belonged solely to me. Disciple loves you, truly loves you. Just as I was undressing her, she called out Chengji again, and my heart trembled once more. I was worried she might not like me, Master. But that wasn't the case. She wanted even more. The spring night is short. Shouldn't we take a step further? She proactively left a kiss mark on my collarbone. If you're too excited, then go ahead and take care of yourself first. In the dimly lit room, the clothes of a man and a woman were scattered carelessly on the floor, as if they no longer cared about the world. Luo Qiu and Lu Qingji were immersed in cloud-like pleasure, sharing the eternal ecstasy of this short spring night. He kissed her body nonstop, and she felt like she was floating in the clouds. Chengji, they held each other tightly, reluctant to part, and in this spring dream, he unconsciously called her name over and over, declaring his ownership, Master. My master. He gripped her hand tightly, reaching the peak. That cry of master pushed his pleasure to the extreme. At that moment, all happiness erupted. No matter how beautiful a dream, one must eventually wake up. He opened his eyes, the afterglow still lingering. As expected, it was a dream, but it was a dream he wanted to continue forever. He lifted the blanket, looking at his little brother still saluting in the middle of the night, remembering being drugged last night. That woman had given him a potent aphrodisiac, making him have such a dream. He looked at the beloved sleeping beside him, completely unaware. He subconsciously reached out, gently touching her delicate face. Master, what should this disciple do? Being so close to his beloved, he couldn't control himself, wanting to kiss her like a prince waking a sleeping princess. Just as the atmosphere was right, a sudden loud noise outside and someone shouting woke her up. She looked at the man who wasn't sleeping at night, leaning close to her face, doing something sneaky. Senior brother, you. He immediately interrupted her. Something seems to have happened outside. I was just about to wake you up to go and see. This kid's acting skills are worthy of an Oscar. He quickly draped her outer garment over her, not giving her time to think too much. Junior sister, put this on. She didn't have time to suspect her disciple either. Oh, so that's what it is. There were already people gathered outside, waiting to watch the commotion. She stepped forward and asked a nearby senior brother, "What's the big deal so late at night? What's wrong? What happened?" The person recounted the events with a worried look. It seems Beong is forcing himself on Miss Yuan. This news was indeed shocking. Things had developed to this point after just one night. The female lead and Beong. The male lead is being cheated on. Inside the room, Yuan Moli cried pitifully, appearing weak and helpless, while the 8th senior brother slept soundly, as if nothing had happened. In fact, all of this was her own doing. She hadn't expected the aphrodisiac she gave Lu Qingji to be ineffective and backfire on herself, leaving her with no choice but to seek an antidote from someone. She cried out her grievances to everyone, pretending to be an innocent girl who had been taken advantage of. "Senior brothers, you must uphold justice for me." Things having come to this, she couldn't let anyone see through her act, and could only desperately play the victim. Everyone condemned Beong's shamelessness. Who would have thought Beong would do such a thing? Miss Yuan is so pitiful. Luo Qiu also didn't expect him to be this kind of person, the heir of the Chu family. Everyone advised her not to judge a book by its cover. But Qingji spoke up for her. Maybe it was Miss Yuan who forced herself on Beong. Everyone was stunned, expressing disbelief. How is that possible? She was also taken aback when she heard him say that. Xiaoqing blushed, hurrying forward to clarify. Actually, everyone's misunderstood. It's not what you think. Eyewitness accounts are always more convincing. He scratched his face a little sheepishly, recounting the events of last night. I happened to be passing by and heard Miss Yuan's voice. She said it feels good. It didn't sound like she was unwilling. Seeing her scheme about to be exposed, Yuan Moli immediately shouted, "You're lying." Beong forced himself on me. Just then, someone in the crowd suddenly yelled, "Wait, isn't this senior brother Lu's room? Miss Yuan, why are you here?" He pulled her over as a human shield. I was worried about junior sister Zhang's safety last night, so I stayed in her room. As for why Miss Yuan is here, perhaps she was looking for some excitement. He also gave her a super fake sweet smile and said, "Right, Miss Yuan." Yuan Moli was so scared she couldn't say a word. Unable to refute him, she could only nod her head to appease the situation. He urged everyone to disperse. There's nothing to see here. Go on, go on. Staying too long isn't good for your health. She was speechless. Someone who pretended to be this clear-headed would never become the female lead. But everything has two sides. The female lead is dispensable. No, the female lead already has someone. Qingji is a pure and upright child. She can't let him turn back. Thinking this, she immediately grabbed her disciple's hand. Then she quickly pulled him away from the inn. Whatever, who cares about the female lead? She didn't expect that in the instant their hands touched, someone's heart skipped a beat. These two were practically showing off their affection publicly. The unlucky girl behind them was practically choking on it. Her plan failed, and she gritted her teeth in anger. Lu Qingji, you two just wait. If I can't have him, no one can. The next day, the group continued searching for the exit in the Yellow Springs Ancient Realm. Where's the exit to this Yellow Springs Ancient Realm? We've been searching for a whole day and haven't even seen a shadow of it. I really can't walk anymore. I'm exhausted. Just when they thought they were going to slowly starve to death in the Yellow Springs, Xiaoqing suddenly spotted a glimmer of hope. Look over there. It seems like there's someone. A small temple was built in midair, looking quite impressive. She turned to him and said, "Let's go take a look. Maybe we'll encounter some expert." She moved closer and asked the old man in a particularly sweet voice, "Excuse me, senior, we'd like to ask." Before she could finish, The old man already knew their intention. You want to ask where the exit to the Yellow Springs ancient realm is, right? She was immediately overjoyed, as if the old man had magically guessed their thoughts. Senior, you know. The old man didn't tell them directly. How about this? Whoever can beat me in a game, I'll tell you. If you lose, you'll stay here with me forever. How about that? Only he knew the answer to the question he posed. So who could possibly win? Everyone was in an uproar after hearing the old man's condition. Don't look at me. I don't know how to play chess. Xiaoqing mustered up his courage and stepped forward. I'll give it a try. Unfortunately, he was no match for the old man. You can't. The old man immediately called on Chungji to play chess. You, come play a game with me. Seeing his extraordinary talent, the old man took a liking to him at first glance. Seeing how interested the old man was, could it be that he had some peculiar preferences? Chungji stared at the chess pieces in his hand, his expression focused, seemingly stumped. Compared to his almost tortured expression, the old man was very calm, leisurely stroking his beard, even closing his eyes and letting Chungji place his pieces at will. The atmosphere of the duel between experts attracted many onlookers. Suddenly, a voice echoed in the air. You like your master, don't you? Chungji was struck to the core and froze. This old guy really hit the nail on the head. It's him, speaking to me with his divine sense. One old fox, able to communicate without even opening his mouth. The old man appeared directly in Chungji's mind, revealing all his deepest secrets. Young man, your heart is impure. You can deceive your master, but you can't deceive me. Exposed by the old man, Chungji immediately wanted him to stop. What do you want? What this old man wants isn't what you think. You just want to give him some advice. Young man, I'm just reminding you, don't fall in love with someone who doesn't belong to this world. Too much obsession, and you'll suffer greatly. Chungji looked at the illusion of his master, his face full of confusion. What do you mean, doesn't belong to this world? Heaven's secrets mustn't be revealed. Your obsession is too deep. It has become an obstacle to your cultivation, and sooner or later it will drag you into an abyss of despair. After these words, the temptation came. The old man proposed a deal with Chungji. As long as you let go of your obsession, I will help you achieve invincible cultivation. Are you willing to try? This was the outcome he least desired. It was unnecessary. Chungji brushed past, leaving the old man filled with questions. His love for his master had long since become his faith. In this world, I only care about my master. Chungji's footsteps drew closer to his master, even if it was just an illusion of her. The depth of affection in his eyes, as he looked at her, remained undiminished. Unrivaled power in this world cannot compare to being with the one you love. If I cannot be with her, what is the point of possessing supreme power? He took her hand, gently caressing it. As long as master is here, even hell. He gently placed a kiss on the back of her hand, as if declaring his sovereignty. To me, this is heaven. The power of love made the chess piece tremble. I will not regret this. The last chess piece fell, ending the game. Chungji bowed to the old man. Senior, you've lost. Faced with Chungji's unwavering resolve, the old man didn't seem to mind. If you want to break the game, you must be like this chessboard in the future, a mix of black and white. If someone teaches you, you must listen. Thank you for your guidance, Senior. Senior, fake Shihi. Luo Chio stood by, happily reminding the old man of their previous agreement. Senior, the game is over. You should fulfill your promise and lead us out of here, right? Of course, a promise is a promise, as expected of a fairy. With a wave of the old man's hand, a mist appeared out of thin air, like a fairyland. A mysterious door connecting two realms emerged from the mist. Everyone cheered excitedly, finally able to return to the human world. Look, a path has appeared on the bridge. Great, we can finally get out. Fake She was about to turn and thank the old man, but found that he had vanished. Senior, thank you, he's gone. A bright, translucent pearl appeared on the table, unclear whether it was a gift or something left behind. How did this pearl get here? He quickly urged her to put it away. It seems the senior is also near the Yellow Springs ancient realm. Although I don't know if it's useful, it's best to keep it. She picked it up casually. There was no reason to refuse a good thing that fell from the sky. Just then, the system suddenly popped up, ordering her to take Lu Qingji's heart blood to save Xiaoqing, and to tell him that she and he She nearly jumped in fright. What did you say? She thought, I have to ask my disciple for blood to save someone. This is going to be the death of me. While she was agonizing over this, she abruptly turned to look at the male lead and found Xiaoqing standing there safe and sound. Just as that thought crossed her mind, a boom echoed as the ground quaked right where Xiaoqing was standing. She screamed his name, filled with anxiety. Chengji's mind was consumed with her safety. Everyone around her was knocked down by the tremor. At that moment, a tall, dark figure stood before the two of them. The masked man choked Nanjuan's neck with immense force. Nanjun could barely breathe, coughing up blood. The scene was horrifying. She instantly transformed into a heroine, rushing forward and shouting, "Who are you? Let him go." But upon closer inspection, this person looked somewhat familiar. The mask was extremely similar to the Huajian Kingdom's national teachers. Could it be him? The other party coldly stated, "Hand over the thing first, and I'll let him go." He wanted the pearl. She thought, this newly acquired treasure seems extraordinary. Since he's so concerned about it, it must be significant. She turned the tables. You release him first, then I'll give you the pearl. In reality, she had a hidden trump card up her sleeve, ready to strike at any moment. The other party wasn't buying it. You're not in a position to bargain with me. Since that was the case, she directly drew her weapon, prepared for a fight. How can you know the outcome without fighting to the end? Now the formalities are over. It's time for a real fight. Before her sword could get close, it was easily caught between two of his fingers. She was too shocked to speak. She couldn't believe there was such a master before her eyes. With a casual flick of his wrist, her sword was sent flying. Her weapon useless, she immediately switched to hand-to-hand combat. Their hands locked in a fierce struggle. Her hand ached from his grip. His strength was far beyond ordinary. Her cultivation was currently sealed, and she was no match for him. It's over. I'm dead for sure. My cultivation is mostly sealed in this secret realm. Blood flowed as she fell to the ground. Chengji rushed forward to catch her. Master. His uncontrolled cry shocked everyone. Master, why did senior brother Lu call senior sister Zhang master? Could it be that senior sister Zhang is venerable Luo Chu? The female lead heard it too. Jiang Jiji is venerable Luo Chu. How is that possible? Since the secret was out, it was better to go with the flow. Master, don't be afraid. It's all right. He looked at her pale, frightened face, his heart aching. How dare you hurt my master? You've chosen the wrong person. He glared at the masked man, eyes filled with hatred. Death. That's the only ending for someone who dares to do such a thing. Luo Chu, drenched in cold sweat, lay in bed and woke up with a start. The system cat was right beside her. Seeing its master open her eyes, it immediately pounced. Luo Chu, you're finally awake. She rubbed her aching head. Ugh, my head hurts. And this cat, clinging to me and chattering nonstop before I've even recovered. Wah, you've been unconscious for 3 days. I thought I'd never see you again. Goodness, why so dramatic this early in the morning? She pushed the cat's face away irritably. How'd I get back? Where are Chengji and the others? The cat started crying again. That guy knocked you out in the Yellow Springs. During that battle, Chengji appeared again, still persistently holding her tight. Even though the villain was seriously injured, having saved everyone and severed his meridians, he stubbornly brought her back to Cloud Peak Immortal Palace. Hearing that her disciple was seriously injured, she panicked. Chengji's injured. How is he? Luckily, this cat went to check first. He's fine. Don't worry. The villain woke up this morning and is currently in the kitchen making medicine for you. It's good that he's okay. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't be able to eat or sleep well. Before she could fully recover, the system popped up a mission prompt, instructing her to get Chengji's heart blood to save Xiaoqing and, at the same time, let him know about the connection between them. She was startled. What happened to Xiaoqing? Not good. With things so chaotic right now, I'm in no mood for your cat gossip. I need to act quickly. I'll go find him now. Delaying the mission will get me struck by lightning. Just as she stepped out the door, Chengji came in, his face covered in dust, holding a bowl of medicine. Master, you're awake. A maid. She was in no mood for medicine and immediately told him to come with her. Chengji, come with Master to Longevity Mountain. He was still bewildered as she pulled him away. Ah, Master. Longevity Mountain, surrounded by rocks and wild grass, was a suitable place for recuperation. Peak Master Mu, how is Xiaoqing's injury? She led her disciple into the solemn atmosphere. Peak Master Mu stroked his beard and sighed helplessly. Not good. Your disciple's spiritual root is damaged, and his life is in grave danger. The only way now is to use the heart blood of a cultivator with an intact spiritual root to save him. He immediately turned his gaze to Chungji, as he was the most outstanding in the immortal palace. As far as I know, besides Xiaocheng, only your disciple has a complete spiritual root in this Cloud Peak Palace. Chungji's excellence was also a source of trouble. Hearing this treatment method, he felt apprehensive and turned to look at her with a bitter expression. Chungji, everyone immediately objected. Master, no. Senior brother Liu was seriously injured by White Robe while saving people. If you take his blood now, he won't be able to withstand it. Wait, but she had already made up her mind. I'm here. Heng yi vonte di. He looked at her sadly. Master. He wondered if her heart truly belonged to him or to his junior brother. So, compared to my life or death, Master cares more about junior brother. Did Master go to the Yellow Springs also because of him? She turned to ask her disciple for his opinion. Are you willing? His hands clenched, trembling slightly. Disciple is willing. Whatever Master wants, disciple is willing to give. Peak Master Mu didn't want to delay the rescue any longer and urged, then quickly go to the next room to draw the blood. Venerable Luo Chu, please take him there. There's no time to lose. Although reluctant, the matter had come to this. All right, the door to the next room closed. Luo Chu closed the door and turned to him. Qingji, take off your clothes. This sudden request made the poor boy's heart skip a beat. Huh? Seeing his shy demeanor, she couldn't help but laugh. How can I draw your blood if you don't take off your clothes? You weren't this shy in the Yellow Springs ancient realm, but now you're acting reserved. You have to listen to whatever the person you like says, right? He unbuttoned his clothes while asking foolishly, is that so? Layer after layer of clothing came off, revealing a physique even hotter than her ex's. Luo Chu couldn't help but gulp. Heavens, those collarbones, those abs. It's like a buffet for girls. She covered her mouth, trying not to laugh, silently admiring his six-pack abs. My disciple has such a great figure. Seeing her spacing out, he brought her back to reality. Master, are you all right? Her thoughts had drifted too far, and she had to give herself a hard knock to snap out of it. No, now's not the time to think about this. After indulging in his beauty for too long, it was time to get down to business. It's nothing. Drawing blood will hurt, so bear with it. Finally noticing her concern, he showed his usual puppy dog smile. If it's for Master, it won't hurt. She didn't catch the deeper meaning in his words, taking it as mere flattery. He's so good, even better than in the novel. She approached him, placing her hand on his body. But if I don't take his heart blood, his heart will be struck by heavenly lightning. Her slender fingers gently brushed his chest. He felt an unprecedented pleasure and softly called out, Master. She used a spell to draw out his blood, causing him to cry out in pain. Seeing her disciple in such agony, her heart tightened. Chengi, I'm sorry. The pain was almost unbearable. Master, it hurts. She gently stroked his face, comforting him. Chungji, be good. It will be over soon. Tears fell onto the handsome young man's face. But his inner thoughts were completely different from his outward appearance. Master is clearly taking my blood, but I'm like a pervert, excited and thrilled by her touch. This guy definitely has a masochistic streak. Her fingers pressed harder against his chest, the pain gradually replaced by extreme pleasure. Where Master's fingers touch feels so good. Overwhelmed by a mixture of pain and pleasure, he collapsed into her arms. Worried that something might happen to him, she quickly reached out to support him. Chungji, afraid he would be frightened by the bloodletting, she proactively embraced him, offering comfort. It's all right, be good, Chungji. It's all over now. He wore the blissful expression of someone being held by their beloved. Master, Master, all good things are given by Master. All pain is also given by Master. Afterwards, he glared at himself inwardly. When will Master give me love? His longing for love reached its peak. Deep in a mountain forest, the leaves in front of the palace swayed in the wind. Luo Chu stayed by her disciple's side, looking at the peacefully sleeping face of the male lead, and sighed worriedly. Has it been a day already? How much longer do I have to stay here? While her words expressed concern, her heart was preoccupied with another person. The system cat, knowing who she was worried about, advised her to stop pretending. Go to him. Judging by his condition, he probably won't wake up for a while. You should go check on him. He's sick too. As soon as the words left its mouth, she was gone. The system cat muttered helplessly, "Honestly, even after reincarnation, she's still so obsessed with men. His room isn't far. If anything happens here, I'll let you know immediately." The door closed, leaving the cat behind, watching its owner rush towards her beloved. There's no need to be so hasty. Elsewhere, Lu Qingji lay on the sickbed, his face covered in cold sweat, constantly moaning in pain. A slender hand gently caressed his handsome cheek. "Qingji." She sat by his bedside, tending to him, silently grateful in her heart. "You're always so considerate and understanding, never making me worry, patient and gentle. The matters at Xingya Pavilion are all resolved, yet now you're lying here for me." These were just her inner thoughts, but as if he could hear them, tears streamed down the young man's face. He kept nuzzling her palm. "Master, master." She anxiously comforted him. "Qingji, don't be afraid, master is here." But he was trapped in a nightmare, constantly calling out to her, "Don't leave me." Seeing her disciple suffering both physically and mentally, her heart ached. The situation was so urgent, yet I was settling old scores in the Yellow Springs. When did Qingji actually discover my identity? She was curious. Were those intimate actions for me or for Zhangxi? This question is rather silly, though. There's no point in asking. She wanted to delve deeper into everything. If Qingji likes Zhangxi, is it her appearance he likes, or the personality I displayed while pretending to be her? Many mysteries remained unsolved. The thought of his feelings for her disappearing after the plot ended left her in turmoil. Although I don't mind a master-disciple romance, I ultimately have to leave this place. What if he likes Luo Chu? Lately, everything feels like a cliché romance novel. I need to snap back to reality before I get too invested. She sighed. "No, I'm definitely overthinking it. Considering how he feels about me, it's a blessing he hasn't killed me. The matters here are all settled. Now I need to take care of the patient. Stop overthinking. Let's give Qingji some Chongzhong spiritual due." She leaned close to his ear, almost touching his lips, and coaxed him softly. "Qingji, be good. Drink this, and your injuries will heal quickly." However, most of the medicine she poured into his mouth spilled out. Qingji was too severely injured to swallow on his own. He was still asleep. How could he drink it? Forget it. The medicine spilled. What a waste of such precious spiritual medicine. At this point, she could only drink it herself first. She drank the entire bottle in one gulp and decided to use the most direct yet subtle way to feed him the medicine. Under the pretense of administering it, she kissed him directly, mouth to mouth. "Qingji, master loves you this much. You can't kill me in the future." The medicinal liquid flowed down his throat. After feeding him, she grinned. Finally, all the medicine is in his stomach. Great, he drank it all. As long as he rests for a few days, Qingji will recover. Just as she was planning to cause a scene and slip away, a large hand suddenly grabbed her. Her heart pounded, worried that there was still some danger in the room. So Qingji was dreaming of her lying on top of him, calling her master. She was shocked. She hadn't expected him to be so bold, even half asleep. Even in his dreams, Qingji still had the strength to kiss her. Don't push me away, please." This time, she had to admit defeat to this little rascal. She couldn't believe her disciple could be so strong even in his dreams. How could he be so powerful even when injured? But if she pushed him away now, he might get hurt. All right, Qingji. She tried to gently push him away, preventing him from taking advantage of the situation. It took a lot of effort for her to finally pull her hand back. She didn't know how many times this kiss had happened, but every time felt like the first, still passionate, intoxicating, and utterly consuming. This little rascal must be delirious from the fever, she thought, though who was more muddled was debatable. Tada! Yuan Moli popped out from the corner of the room, having witnessed the whole scene with jealousy after she left. She hadn't expected the aloof, venerable Luo Chu to stoop to seducing her junior brother. Everyone has their moments of foolishness. This little girl really knows how to see through the world. She approached the bed. With a furious expression, she said, "Back in Yellow Springs, the two of you shared a room every day. I watched my love being stolen right before my eyes. I couldn't stand it. You two must have done a lot of things. No wonder you stabbed me for her. It was all because of that bitch." Luo Chu. Her hand nervously touched his chest. "You willingly offered your heart's blood for her. If you love her that much." The female lead's expression gradually turned sinister and vicious. "Tell me, what would happen if she knew you had become a demon?" Yuan Moli rushed towards Lu Qingji, looking ready to fight. This poor patient, still holding something sinister in his hand, was about to cause trouble. She held the object up to his face. With a look of "Sorry, brother, I was forced to do this." Flashback. She secretly colluded with a masked man. This is the soul-devouring bone. It will amplify the evil thoughts in one's heart. Mix my blood with it, then insert it into him, and your relationship will be over. The masked man knew her too well, saying, I know how obsessed you are with Chungji. Weren't you jealous seeing him risk his life for Luo Chu? She stared at the soul-devouring bone in her hand, her eyes sharp and calculating. Seeing her hesitation, the masked man added fuel to the fire. You hate Luo Chu for stealing your love, but you're too weak. This bone can get you everything you want, including love. The mention of love struck a nerve. Fine, I agree. Back in the present, this scheming woman was bringing the bone closer to him, red spiritual energy swirling around it. He just lay there, completely unconscious, but his forehead was covered in cold sweat. The bone was slowly inserted into his body. He couldn't bear it and coughed up blood. She was still laughing sinisterly beside him, a chilling laugh. Why could Luo Chu have his love? Lu Qingji, you're mine. Meanwhile, with Luo Chu, she was taking care of Xiaoqing. He hadn't woken up yet. She grabbed the system cat and shook it angrily. The male lead has already used Chungji's blood. Why hasn't he woken up yet? Xiaoqing slowly opened his eyes and looked around. Her disciple had woken up. What wonderful news. Xiaoqing, you're finally awake. How are you feeling? Are you uncomfortable anywhere? I'm fine, thank you, Master, for your concern. All right, no need for formalities. It's good that you're okay. I have something to tell you. In her heart, she cursed the system, wanting to curse it 1,000 times over. He naturally replied, Please instruct me, Master. Since she had started, she had to say something easily misunderstood. Do you think I, your master, treat you well? He replied normally. Master is very good to this disciple. Why do these words sound so awkward? Just then, the system sent her a few cheesy lines from a romance novel. What if I told you that I took you as my disciple, gave you a precious sword, and did all this for you because I like you? What would you think? He was instantly stunned, as if struck by lightning. Master, the male lead immediately wrapped himself tightly in the blankets like a shy virgin. A master-disciple romance is truly against ethics. She pretended to be infatuated and leaned closer, whispering, Master knows, but Master can't control her heart. He couldn't believe his master would do such a thing. How can you joke with your disciple like this? The system sent another line. I used to be noble and aloof, but after meeting you, I saw a different kind of life. She felt embarrassed after saying it, cursing inwardly. What kind of cheesy writing is this? Even stray dogs would find it disgusting. These sweet words left the male lead dumbfounded. This disciple is a bit confused. Please give me some time. She had him completely wrapped around her finger, like a master manipulator. Think carefully before you answer. If you're going to be a villain, you have to fully embrace the villainous vibe. She leaned in close to him, making the scariest monster face she could muster, and he turned pale with fright. But you have to remember, everything you have, your status, your magical treasures, your work, it's all thanks to me. Understand. This is all to prevent my food and sleep from being stolen. Right now, the male lead has no feelings for the female lead, so I can only threaten and deceive him into acting like the vicious female supporting character in the story. He was so terrified of her that he could only obey. I understand. Disciple understands. Good. The 5th task is complete. Venerable Luo Chu has recovered 80% of her cultivation. Reward 1 rejuvenation pill. Finally done. Now I can go check on Qingji. Who knows what will happen, but someone overheard the whole conversation and even heard the sound of a heart shattering into pieces. How painful. Chungji sat there, looking like a melancholy artist, watching the flower petals fall. He looked up at the sky, his heart in turmoil. Who are you? Where did you come from? How can you be as gentle as the morning dew? Master walked over and expressed her concern. Your injuries haven't healed yet. Why are you sitting outside in the cold wind? Come inside. He looked at her with an extremely jealous gaze, which made her feel awkward. She asked him, Why are you looking at me like that? What's wrong? Why are you looking at your master like that? He blurted out, Master, why are you so good to me? Asking this is actually meaningless, isn't it? A teacher for a day, a mother for life. Master treats you like her own child. Who else would she be good to if not you? A teacher for a day, a mother for life. This sentence struck him right in the heart. Deep down, he suddenly started laughing like a madman. Seeing her disciple like this, she became a little worried. She placed her hand on his shoulder and asked, "Chungji, you were fine just now. Why are you suddenly like this?" He suddenly stood up and coldly shook her off. Master was completely clueless. She hadn't said anything. Who could understand? Worried that he was delirious from his illness, she grabbed his hand. "Chungji, what are you talking about?" He shook off her hand as if she were a stranger, telling her to leave immediately. "Please go back, Master. Please go back. Disciple is tired and wants to rest." This person could no longer tell whether he was mentally or emotionally exhausted. He walked away without looking back, and Luo Chu watched him leave coldly. But her heart ached as if it were being cut by a knife. "Chingji, if you want to be so heartless, I won't force you, and I won't try to keep you. Then you should rest well. I'll come see you tomorrow." She said this, but her heart couldn't let go. She had just turned around when she stopped, looking back at his lonely figure, her heart softening. Considering herself soft-hearted once again, she took the initiative to hold his hand and reconcile. "Chingji, come inside. Master is worried about you and wants to spend more time with you." These words awakened the overflowing love in his heart. "Master," she led him inside, a glimmer of hope rising in her own heart. Master came back, meaning she still cared about him in her heart. She must. She helped him tuck in the blanket, afraid he would catch a cold, and he just lay there, smiling foolishly at Master. "It's been a long time since I felt this warmth." She suddenly remembered what had happened before, a mother for life, and all that. He was much better now than when he was acting crazy earlier. This was more like her good disciple. His smile was brighter than the sun. Seeing him as the obedient disciple he once was, the crazy accusations from earlier must have been an illusion. He carefully took her hand. "Master," that sound was like a plea for something. Seeing his expression, she asked what's wrong. He buried his face in her hand and called out, "Master." She looked in surprise at this little guy who couldn't live without someone by his side. "What's wrong with you?" She couldn't let her disciple be like this. She had to correct him immediately, otherwise he would be spoiled. "You're so grown up now. Why are you still acting like a child?" How could she know that a man only acts like a child in front of the person he likes? Taking advantage of this intimate atmosphere, he mustered up the courage to confess. "Master, actually, Just as the story was getting to the good part, an urgent voice suddenly came from outside. "Venerable Luo Chu, something terrible has happened. Xiaoqing has fainted." The male lead fainted. He just woke up. How could something so serious happen suddenly? She was extremely anxious, but he wouldn't let her go. "Master, don't go." He gripped her hand tightly. "Master, don't go." The newly reconciled relationship was about to break again. She was also reluctant to leave Qingji, but the urging voices continued from outside. "Venerable One, please come quickly and see Xiaoqing." Even if she wanted to stay, she couldn't. Although she really wanted to stay, if something happened to the male lead, how would she explain it to the system? "Be good, Qingji." She held his shoulders, comforting him. At this moment, he truly didn't want her to leave. "Master, please don't." He watched her turn to leave, reaching out as if to grab her. "Master." The door slammed shut with a bang. Watching the person he loved leave just like that, his heart was full of resentment. "Master, you didn't even look at me." He sank into thought, lonely and dejected. Just then, someone added fuel to the fire. "So pathetic, your master doesn't love you at all. She doesn't love you one bit." He flew into a rage, driving away the voice that was entrenched within him, spouting filth. "It's you again. Get out. Get out of my body." A wisp of soot-black smoke appeared, grinning slyly as it began to persuade him. "Lu Qingji, no one in this world understands your love and hate better than I do." It didn't stop there, continuing to entice him into an alliance. "As long as you don't underestimate me, and we become one, the rewards will be immense. At that time, you will be able to trample your master and the entire cultivation world under your feet. Touching the one you love is the greatest taboo." "Shut up." But it wasn't planning on letting him go easily, determined to convince him. "Luo Chu's feelings for you all these years, how can they compare to the newly arrived Xiaoqing? You heard it yourself. How did it feel?" Its words completely crossed his bottom line. He didn't want to hear anymore. "No, master is mine." Possessiveness overwhelmed his reason. "She can only be mine." Taking advantage of his mental breakdown, it fanned the flames, pushing the atmosphere to the extreme. "Stop deceiving yourself. Your master has chosen Xiaoqing. She doesn't need you anymore." At this moment, his whole body trembled at the thought of the person he loved leaving him. "If master doesn't need me, then why did she take me as her disciple despite everyone's disapproval. Why was she so gentle to me? Why do I love her, but she loves someone else? His madness reached its peak. Impossible. No one could take Master away from me. He smashed everything, completely losing his mind due to blind love. I absolutely won't allow it. While he was in chaos, she walked peacefully. Suddenly, the system cat appeared, asking curiously, Eluo, Chu. It jumped onto her shoulder. Weren't you going to see that big villain? Why are you here? She replied, I heard Xiaoqing fainted, so I came back to check. This news sounded a bit exaggerated, as the system cat had just been with the male lead. Xiaoqing fainted. Impossible. I just left him. He was still taking a bath. Hearing this messy news, I feel like something's not right. She turned and cast a purification spell on the person who had just spread the false news, immediately questioning his identity. Who are you? He was caught red-handed while casting his spell, but he was quickly caught. After being exposed, he no longer concealed himself. I didn't expect to be discovered so quickly. Venerable Luo Chu, we will meet again. After saying that, he turned and slipped away, leaving her stunned. Oh no, it's a diversion. She suddenly remembered her beloved disciple and immediately began to worry about Chengji's safety. That person deliberately lured me away. Could it be that he's trying to deal with Chengji now? She realized it was too late.